Okay. We are live. Okay. So, there's. I don't even know. Is there lots of time? I mean, what? Government's still shut down. Still stupid shit. I don't know. We gotta think of some goddamn policy. Crypto.com. Reminder: the fucking government's been shut down since October 1st. Fucking wild. I don't know. I mean, like, what do we do? Just like, I don't know. Do we start making like a list of all the different standard boilerplate centrists, conservative, like, what am I trying to say? The conservative, biased, leaning centrists probably would be helpful to have rhetoric, not only defensive, but like, I guess affirmative. Like, I don't know. One of the big arguments I hear against, like, oh, I couldn't vote for Kamala. I just didn't know what she was advocating for. First of all, that just means they had made up their mind well before and they didn't bother to look into it. Like, it's a load of horseshit that she didn't have any policies. Just none of the center bothered to talk about her policies because, well, you know, no comment, but because they don't give a fuck, because there's no such thing as the center. No one, again, there is no one who's centrist. I don't think you'll find a single person that looks at the state of things right now and is like, you know what? I think right now, today, as it stands, everything is hunky dory and a-okay. That person doesn't exist. You have people on the right who, if they are on the right, they should be pushing to the right. That is necessarily what they do. Like, it's not great, not a fan of it, but it's kind of, what someone on the right should be doing. But everyone who's like, maybe we should take like a half step back should vote Democrat. Like, you have to, you're right or left of where things are right now. And I would say pretty much everybody, save for maybe 30% of the country, is like, yeah, we should probably take one step left. Now, do people think like that? Absolutely fucking not. Why? Who fucking knows? Like, oh, man. We need to invent alternate universes, just like if it was Pete Buttigieg that was running against Trump. I I don't know. I don't know. I'm also like, where did this instant discounting from Kamala Harris even come from? I know it's like, okay, Buck's been like, we moved well past it, but like, what happened there? What was the big failure in like the ability to communicate with the media? Like I guess the statement would be, oh well, Kamala Harris didn't like go on any media tours, which I don't even know if that's true or not. Because everybody could not shut the fuck up about Trump. I don't know, I want to do more like, let's focus on what the Democrats can fucking offer. Not, why are the Republicans so evil? Because if, as it stands right now, if you're not like, okay, yeah, these guys are fucking lobotomized dick sucks, then whatever. Like, I'm not trying to win you over. There's nothing to win over. There's there's nothing to like contend with there. fuck? Man. Yeah, it's been doing that. Fuck me. How about now? I replugged it. God damn it. The gain settings are normal. This mic. I don't know what it is. I think it's the audio interface. Yeah, I need to get a new one, I guess. All good now? Yeah, it'll break again in a moment. Just let me know. Alright, let me get this crossword up for everybody. How are things in UK politics? How's reform doing? I can't believe not that I can't believe it, that's the wrong way to say it. But I am in shock that people in the UK looked at what's happening in the US and they're like, we want our version of that. Like, do y'all just dislike immigrants that fucking much? It doesn't, like, same thing with the AFD. Like, is immigration, actually we could solve this pretty easily. Top voting issues, Germany. Okay, just straight up polls. Don't make me fucking read. Immigration and economy key issues. Okay. Okay, everyone's just copy and pasting the same Gallup article that doesn't actually answer the fucking questions. Okay, cock. Immigration and asylum is number 1. Okay, never mind. That makes sense. Now it all tracks. People care what they're told to care about. Also, I'm making an opinion master list so that I could just post that somewhere. After 2015, people hate migrants. No, I feel like that was building for a while, because I remember when I was a wee little shit, even before Trump, people were talking about how much they were. It was entirely caught. Wait, how so? Oh, man, I'm too broke to even think of Rolex. Major oil cartel, OPEC? Soup. Tree.
In 2015, the migrant crisis in Europe brought unprecedented social strife and the meteoric rise of the far right all across the continent. The crisis itself had two main theaters, the Mediterranean Sea and the Balkan Peninsula. And the vast majority of migrants came through the Balkans, shown by this Frontex chart, thus making their way to Western European countries such as Germany or Sweden. Enter Viktor Orban, the far-right white nationalist prime minister.
Oh, Victor. Trump's best friend,
Hungary,
by the way.
directly standing between the Balkans and Western Europe. Now, in far-right circles and in Hungarian government propaganda...
Wait. Okay, pre-watch. Is this gonna be like, what Greg Abbott did, where he's like, you know what, instead of spending money on bolstering my border security and handling of immigrants, I'm just gonna start sending them everywhere else?
It's a popular talking point that Hungary and Orban in general protected Europe from the migrants in 2015, thus helping to keep Europe white and or to foil the Jewish cabal's plans, depending on how far gone you are. And here we have a tweet from Zoltán Kovács, the Hungarian government spokesman.
Wow. It's so universal. What's the conservative policy? Pass the buck. What's the liberal policy? Figure it the fuck out. Like, if you look at Texas's laws versus New York's laws and, like, you know, city ordinances or whatever the fuck on immigration, it is night and fucking day. God, the global left. Now, I'm not talking about, like, the socialist. I was just talking about people 1 inch to the left and above of where things are right now. Need to be like, yo, okay, we need to start owning our fucking wins and shit. Like, I don't know. I feel like people don't find the, hey, this is pretty fucked up, why don't we try something else convincing. It's got to be like, here's exactly what we're gonna do. Now, granted, I understand, and I myself feel this, like, is it not convincing enough to not have, like, Hitler too in office? But it's not, apparently. That's not good enough. So, it's gotta be more of an affirmative, like, this is why you should vote for us, not this is why you should vote against that, because people are actually lobotomized. Anyway, sorry, I'll let this ride.
Echoing this very sentiment. No, PM Orban did not let illegal immigrants into Europe. In fact, Hungary was one of the few EU member states that stood up against illegal migration. But was it now? Unfortunately for Zoltán Kovács, in 2015 I was living in Hungary and commuting daily on the very route the migrants were taking to Western Europe. And being interested in the crisis, I was also reading all the articles I could get my hands on regarding the migrant crisis and the events inside the country. So based on my first-hand knowledge of events, I can confidently say that the Hungarian spokesman is lying to you right now. And so my claim is that the Hungarian government has deliberately and actively exacerbated the problem. They made the crisis much worse on purpose. Alright, so This is a rather bold claim.
But then the problem is, like, that is not hard to I mean, depending on what the other things he contends, like in the rest of this. But that's the point. They want to make it worse. Like, that is their goal. Right? Just like Greg Abbott. But then the rationale and this for some reason does appeal to centrists, where it's like, well, we're just giving them a taste of their own medicine. This is what they wanted, right? It's like, sure, I guess. But people find that pretty convincing. And I can't say I don't see why. It's like, you know, having someone in New York saying we need to accept all these immigrants, and you're somebody in Texas, I can understand why you'd be upset. But I don't think the solution for that is, let's just shift the problem to New York. It's like, why don't we work with New York to figure out something, ways to handle this? And to New York's credit, they have passed so much legislation and have infrastructure being built and are working on handling it, because they're not going to, like, pass the buck further. Not like, all right, you took your bus from Texas to New York, all right, we're shipping you back to Alabama. Like, thank God Democrats are good people. Because in a pettier world, or a world where both sides are equally as petty, these migrants would just live on these buses getting shipped from red states to blue states. And I'm sure that's a world, there's an alternate universe where that is happening. But Democrats are better people who choose to actually address issues rather than ship them off to somewhere else.
realize that.
Literally.
And as we know, extraordinary claims do require extraordinary evidence. So what we're going to do here is we are going to
Stupid
go
liberal,
through the
you trying to
events
prove
chronologically
what you
and see
say?
whether my claims hold
You
any
don't just
water.
call everyone
So our story begins on the 2nd of
gay and
February
retarded who doesn't
2015
agree with
in the
you.
morning at the train station of Győr, a city in northwest Hungary not far from the Austrian border. Now at this point the migrant
Valuable
crisis has been
Minecraft
going on
blocks.
for more than a
Ores?
year, with the number of asylum claims in the European Union increasing by 44% and in southern Europe by 95%. And these numbers are according to the UNHCR Asylum Trends 2014 statistics. Right, so why did I choose the 2nd of February 2015 as my starting point? Well, stay tuned, people. On that day, at the Győr train station, about 200 Kosovian migrants were removed from the railjet heading towards Germany and eventually taken away to asylum custody. Now, as a side note, Kosovians themselves are European. Kosovo is a European country.
Yeah,
it's in the
what?
middle of the Balkans. And Kosovians themselves are considered white. So what's the problem here? Well, you see, Kosovo also happens to be 95.6% Muslim.
There is your issue, Kosovo. Yeah, we supported you in your independence from Serbia, but that does not mean we want you in our country, am I right? What the fuck? I don't know enough about the Balkans. I'm working on learning. But still, like, that is insane to me. It's like, hey, we know you just fought this giant war and we helped you out, but like, stay there.
According to 2011 stats anyway from Encyclopedia Britannica.
Hold up, not
So
the
from
right
Orban's
kind of white.
perspective, it actually makes perfect sense that he held them up. Or did he? You see, the local publication that reported on the events also went around and interviewed some locals about the situation. And they had some rather interesting things to say. And so they write, one passenger waiting at the station noted to our colleague with a sour smile that on yesterday's 3 o'clock railjet from Budapest Keleti there were even more foreigners, none of whom were checked however. According to him, there were so many of them on the train that there was barely any space left to stand. So what on earth has gotten into the Hungarian authorities? Because as far as I know, this was the first major action taken against migrants where they actually stopped them from traveling to Western Europe. Well, you see, on the 2nd of February 2015, German Chancellor Angela Merkel was visiting Hungary. Right. But see, at this point, in the first half of 2015, Fidesz, Viktor Orban's party, had a relevant problem. Namely that they were dropping in polls pretty severely, losing about 13% due to corruption scandals, inefficient governance, etc.
Oh shit, I'm being exposed for corruption? Have you heard about brown people?
So they started using the migrant crisis as a political tool to regain supporters. And this approach makes sense really, being at the forefront of solving this big crisis that's hitting the country. And so they started rolling out the first measures to counteract the migrant crisis 4 months later.
God damn.
On the 6th of June 2015,
I know I'm not one to opine
which
on
was
mic
a
quality, but
billboard campaign. And so they plastered 3 kinds of billboards all over the country, from Budapest, the capital, all the way to the smallest of villages. These were, if you come to Hungary, you cannot take Hungarians' jobs. If you come to Hungary, you have to respect our culture. And the third one, if you come to Hungary, you have to respect our laws. But quick-thinking viewers might notice a problem with these billboards, namely that they are written in Hungarian. If you want to communicate something to mostly Middle Eastern migrants, it would make sense to write these billboards in Arabic or at least in English. But of course these billboards were not intended for the migrants themselves, despite being aimed at them. These billboards were a giant virtue signal to Fidesz's old, mostly rural, conservative supporters. And keep in mind that as
you imagine someone in like northern fucking Idaho seeing a billboard written in like English. It's like, you immigrants better respect our laws. I could so see some like dude being like, hell yeah, that'll show him. And it's like his nearest neighbor is 50 miles away. It's like, oh, fun times.
As this is going on, people are marching through the country non-stop. From Turkey, across the Balkans, through Hungary to Western Europe. And although there are some attempts to hold them up or hinder them, this is only enough
Wait,
to
hold
have a
on.
bunch of people collect around the Keleti railway station, the station from which the international trains go to Western Europe, and just hang out there waiting for a chance to escape
Not
Hungary.
2025.
And then came the idea for which I find Orban is praised the most in far-right circles.
Feel free to shit
wall.
on Montana. I can't believe this fucking map. Holy fuck. Wisconsin? Michigan? Oh. How, like, you can use this map to determine the upper limit on Americans' memory is 4 years. Like, the brainiacs, the 160 IQs of our country live in blue states, but everyone else has a memory of 4 years. God, this is fucking crazy. Ugh, disgusting.
Or rather, wire fence. And as the Hungarian government proudly announced, on the 29th of August 2015, the fence was finally done on the Serbian border. Here it is on the map, marked with red. Now, do we see the problem here? But as the government
Fucking Maginot Line as solution.
was proudly presenting the professional and very effective chicken fence, including a freight car from Mad Max, the proverbial dark clouds gathered over Budapest. You see,
That
the
was the French line, right? The Maginot Line that the Germans just kind of went around.
authorities were instructed to pull all migrants off trains, no exceptions. You know, this is the thing that they said they did from the beginning, but only started now. Which in practice meant that if you got into the country through the wire fence, which was not difficult, you actually had trouble moving on from Hungary. See, once you were in the country, you could get on a train to Western Europe if you had a valid ticket. But then if you met a police patrol on the train, they pulled you off if you had no passport. And so, basic arithmetics. What happens if the number of incoming people is higher than the number of outgoing people? They start building up. And that's exactly what happened, turning the underpass system around Keleti into a makeshift refugee camp over the course of a few months by the end of August 2015.
Why are we giving these immigrants housing and trying to support them? So they can look for a fucking job and not have this happen. Like when you just have super oppressive anti-migration policy, first of all, migrants still come. They will come, no matter what. Right? Like, if you build maybe like 1,000-foot tall concrete thing, fuck! Again. Thank you, Honk. Okay, I replugged it again. If I need to get a new audio interface. Good budget audio interface.
So instead of a couple hundred people, now you had multiple thousands, all hanging around the railway station wanting to get on a train. And you know, from the migrants' perspective, if you've paid thousands of euros to smugglers to get you through the sea from Turkey to Greece, and then you go through the Balkans and make it to Hungary, you'll be damned to give up and turn back if the only thing separating you from Western Europe is a 2-hour train ride. And so the crowd is building up around Keleti, and people are getting more and more impatient.
Actually, my brother is a fucking studio, like, producer. I'll just ask him. Why would I do anything? What? What's uh-oh? Is it still fucked? Testing, test. Oh my god. Bear with me. Okay, it seems fine right now. And yes, he came in my room. Well, he helped me do this whole like setup shift. And the day when my mic was backwards, I was texting him trying to fix it. Neither of us realized. But yeah, I'll shoot him a text and ask him, or I don't know, he might pop into chat. We'll see. But yes, he does levy some pretty serious serious things about my setup, which is valid. I mean, I'm using like a Focusrite Scarlett Solo, which is like the notoriously shitty beginner one.
You know, having to hang out in an underpass with your family in a tent, surrounded by a bunch of strangers, potentially for months on end, while also being so damn close to your destination doesn't exactly inspire you to be patient and understanding. So at this point the writing was on the wall. Something was going to happen eventually. The tensions were building without any sort of outlet for them. And what did the Hungarian government do? Nothing! They watched as the crowd grew around the station day by day and did absolutely nothing about it. The basic amenities such as showers, toilets, chargers, etc. were either provided by the city authorities, which are separate from the government.
True. Wait, the fuck? Okay, so actually, the handling of immigrants is happening the exact same. Thank you. Every place. Europe, U.S., you have a limp dick federal government, and in our case, some limp dick states, and then you have base liberal epic states that actually do something. Awesome. Okay. Bro, the liberals around the world need to be like, yeah, it's not the workers of the world uniting. It's not the communists. It's just the fucking people that have brain and want to address issues rather than pass the buck around the world need to get together and be like, guys.
Or by non-governmental organizations. So this is where we are right now. Some people actually do manage to get to Western Europe with valid tickets, but others are not so lucky and stumble into a police patrol that sends them back to Keleti. And then, on the 30th of August 2015, the police decided to close down Keleti, meaning that now, even if you had a valid ticket, you couldn't get to the train unless you also had valid travel documents. And it only took more than a year for the authorities to reach this point. But this closure made a lot of migrants pretty pissed. You know, international train tickets are not cheap, especially if you have to buy them for your whole family. You can easily be looking at $100 or $200 per family, which is a pretty substantial amount for refugees.
All right, guys, what do you think? Should we head to streamhq.ru?
And you cannot get your money back because the ticket office is also inside the station and you're not allowed there. So your money goes to waste. And so the tensions get even higher, but there is no open conflict yet. Because one day later, on the 31st of August, Keleti opened again. And so hundreds of migrants managed to crowd onto the trains and leave Hungary. And these migrants actually all reached Western Europe as far as I know. So naturally, word spread around migrants like wildfire that the authorities are now letting you go to Western Europe if you have a ticket. No police patrol.
Nah, I'll take a 4-view stream with active chatters over. I don't know. I don't want, because I don't know. I'm a big simp for like metrics. So like chats per viewer, everything relative. You know. Pasta shell, thank you. Like, I'd rather have a video with 100 views and 10 likes than 10,000 views and 5 likes, you know?
On the trains, no police at the station. If you have a ticket, you can go. And so even more people started crowding around the station, you know, all those stragglers who might be out in the city somewhere. Basically all of them were now in front of Keleti, waiting to leave Hungary. Until the next day, on the 1st of September 2015, without any prior warning, police have again locked down Keleti, causing even more people to lose money on their tickets. And according to reports, the Hungarian Railways was actually selling tickets even the night before. And then, 2 days later, on the 3rd of September 2015, the line of police have once again disappeared without any prior warning. And so, seeing that, the migrants started running towards the station like insane. Since, you know, now is your chance, you have no idea when the police will be back, but you do want to get out of the country before they return. So thousands of people stream into the station, causing the Hungarian Railway to panic and completely block all traffic towards Western Hungary and Western Europe. So you got thousands of frustrated migrants milling around the station without any information or guidance, just waiting for a train to come. But traffic is shut down, so trains are not coming. Except for one train.
Kardashian, is that her name?
Which was sent to Keleti by accident from Western Hungary while the tracks were supposed to be closed. You know, that's the organizational skills of the Hungarian Railways for you. And the train was drawn by this locomotive, with the graphics on its side depicting people running from Hungary to Germany through barbed wire, breaking through walls. The illustration itself commemorates the Pan-European picnic of 1989, when Hungary let through a bunch of East Germans to West Germany, basically as refugees. Can you see a potential problem with this illustration, given the situation at Keleti?
Oh my god, bro. Have you seen the new Discord fucking notifications and sounds and shit?
What, the spooky ones?
It's, yeah, they're like really loud. It's,
For some reason, whenever I open OBS, they turn off. So I thought you were actually just in the video. I was like, huh, this sounds a lot like Beck.
oh well.
But yeah, so there's two things. One, I'm gonna do less like soy rage about Trump because like, what the fuck is the point? I'm gonna do more like, all right, what policy should liberals go with going forward? Some like affirmative reason to vote for Democrats as opposed to defensive, because for some reason I don't get it.
Wait, is your mic? Fuck, it might be my it might be my
it's
shit.
probably mine.
Okay, it's slightly scratchy, slightly though. It's weird.
I'm running out of USB ports to try. Every connection is solid. Fuck me.
I don't know why.
Okay, I'm looking at all the settings on here. It looks fine. I don't know.
Yeah, now it sounds fine.
Yeah.
Keep on talking though.
I restarted the interface. It'll break again, but so just let me know when it does.
Okay. I mean, it wasn't that bad. I thought it might have been my speakers, to be honest, but no. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that's a good idea, I guess. I will say that you should get off Twitter. Like you just should.
Yeah, I don't go on there anymore. My following tab is just like, hey, here's some terrible people saying terrible things. So I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, everyone says the quote, but it's like I mean, it's so AIDS, and they totally know they're lying, and the moment you engage with them, they win basically. So yeah, just don't.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Like the way I'm thinking of it is in like, pull out the whiteboard real quick. All right, political spectrum's here, right? It's not a perfect.
Yeah, wait, I'm not watching your stream, but
okay, whatever. There's 30% of the country that is uncapturable. I have no interest in communicating with, catering to. Like every factual assumption I make is going to be, okay, what is the 70% at least able to believe? Because that 30% will never believe it. Like when I make claims about, Biden's policy or executive orders being this or that or the Constitution, whatever, 30% of the country is just never gonna gonna agree on even the factual underpinnings. So it's like, okay, I can't like reassert or argue the same like underlying basic shit time and time and time again. It's like, okay, I have to like build off some fucking assumptions, or not even assumptions, just I have to go off, okay, what is like 51 to 70% of the people acknowledge is true, and then go from there. And I'll get called all the names in the world from that other 30%. That's fine. It's just like you can't keep reinventing the wheel and expect to get somewhere. What the fuck am I trying to say? I had an example in mind, but fuck, what was it? Oh, right, yes. Okay, so that Pam Bondi video, right? The one that I fucking piss about every fucking stream. Like, there's a solid chunk of this country that does think that the guy that killed the Minnesota state senator and her husband was a liberal. There's a significant chunk of people, I'd probably estimate about 30% of the country, that does believe that that guy is like Antifa or whatever the fuck. And then it's like, if I want to make a video about that, I'm not going to start off the whole thing with here's the entire proof that you're not going to listen to anyways. It's okay. Speaking to the 51 to 70% of you that can at least think, here's why this video upsets me. Like, getting to the actual point rather than reinventing or trying to reestablish the same set of facts that just will never be reconciled, you know?
Yeah, I think it's okay. I think that's a good idea. I don't know. I really don't know what to do. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I'm just saying, like, I have decided that, one, for my mental, it's better to just say, you know what, there's a sizable chunk of people that are just lost. It's annoying.
Yeah.
And right now they have a lot of space in the media, but they're way overrepresented. So it's, how can I communicate? How can I craft talking points for my position, which is probably capturing the center? So if we say like 40% of people are liberal and will vote liberal no matter what, I'm looking for that 10 to 20% that are on the fence. That's my focus. Anyways, back to the Orban and the Balkans. Let me stream this. Oh, I heard the spooky version. Is it DNA sequencing or RNA sequencing?
No clue.
Any geneticists in chat?
I think, isn't it both or something?
Probably.
Or am I thinking of something else? Maybe I'm thinking
So migrants crowded into the train.
Where are my race realists in chat that can tell me the DNA makeup of every country?
And at this point, they just wouldn't get off.
No.
You know, understandably so after all this back and forth. And so this goes on for multiple hours. The train is not going anywhere, and the railways keep announcing on the PA system that there will be no trains towards Western Europe. And then they start the train towards Western Europe, and they run it all the way from Budapest to Bicske, which is about 1/4 of the way towards Vienna. And then they announce that the train is not going to Western Europe, and then police show up and try to pull people off the train. And I must commend the migrants here for showing such civility and restraint here. You know, white Europeans would be smashing shit up at this point. You know, if these people were British tourists, they would already be fist-fighting the police or something. So of course, news of people getting pulled off at Bicske made it back to Keleti, and they started protesting. Not smashing things up, not setting things on fire, but protesting. And at this point, every reasonable person should have been in support of them. You know, first they're told they can go, and then they cannot, and then they can.
They must be paid protesters. People don't just protest and then go home. That's impossible.
And then they cannot, and then they buy...
No, it's not eugenicists. There's a word I'm looking for. It's the people that believe in, like, cranial measurements and whatnot.
Phrenology guys?
Phrenology, yeah. I know it's not... Well, I don't know. It probably has something to do with genetics, whatever.
Buy 2 tickets, both of them get invalidated, and they don't get their money back. And then one train comes in, and then they say it doesn't go, and then it goes, and then it doesn't go after all, and then police show up. I mean, fuck off, you know? So the police try to fix the situation and tell people that, hey, if they get to Bicske, if they go to the refugee camp there and stay there, they can get food. And the migrants are like, no, fuck you, we just want to leave this country. But by the end of the day, the police kicked the migrants out of the station, and everything was back the way it was before,
yet, so
as in hundreds of people camping around the square, and no one allowed inside the station without travel documents. And if you thought the situation could not get any more absurd, well, you just wait. You see, the migrants at this point were pretty fucking pissed, and they've also realized what Hungarians learn at a very young age. The Hungarian government is not to be trusted. So after some collective organizing, they've decided, fuck it, we're just gonna walk to Austria. That's right, hundreds of people decided they're gonna walk from Budapest to Austria. You know, the authorities keep lying to them, nothing is organized, they're running out of food and water. So they all started going with a one-legged man at the head of the column. From Keleti, through the Grand Boulevard, across the Elizabeth Bridge, through Buda, and then on the M1 highway towards Vienna. And the M1 highway is also one of the main transit arteries of the country. And so this is an absolute disaster, both financially and PR-wise. The situation needs to be immediately corrected, but where is Viktor Orban? Well, it turns out as this crisis was unfolding, he had other arrangements, such as watching the Hungary-Romania football match. And guess what kind of people also visit football matches? That's right, football hooligans, who aren't exactly famous of their tolerance of...
Dude, football hooligans have been way too overrepresented in the news recently. What was the country that just straight up banned Israeli fans?
I think, was it... I'm going to get it wrong. I think it's the Netherlands, though. I heard something about it. Didn't something happen?
There was some, like, football scrap or whatever the fuck between fans of an Israeli team and some other football team. And then some country was like, all right, fuck it. If you're Israeli and you like football, get the fuck out.
Brown people. And so they showed up to Keleti, where some of the migrants still remained who didn't want to go on foot, and started throwing fireworks into the underpasses, getting into the occasional scuffles. Thankfully, the police were there to uphold some kind of semblance of order at least. But at this point, the situation was a general clusterfuck. There was a traffic jam on the M1 highway because of the column. Some migrants took to follow the rail tracks, which caused the most congested rail line in the country to shut down for security reasons. Football hooligans were at Keleti trying to start shit. And Viktor Orban was still watching his football match. Meanwhile, the migrants were progressing towards Vienna.
Oh, really? There's no way.
The occasional grocery store to resupply.
Yeah, because Maccabi Tel Aviv has said it will not accept any prospective ticket allocation from Aston Villa following a ban on the Israeli soccer club's fans from attending a Europa League game in Birmingham next month due to security concerns. It would be fucking Birmingham, wouldn't it? Or, wait, no, that's not where the event took place, was it? This is Birmingham that said no?
Birmingham.
W. Apply. So this went on until night, when the Hungarian government finally made a decision. Around midnight, they assembled hundreds of buses of the Budapest Transit Authority and whatever other buses they could find, and simply sent them down the highway to pick up the migrants and take them to Austria, without any checks or controls, mind you. But even this didn't go as well as they planned. You see, the migrants were kind of suspicious of everything the Hungarian government was doing at this point, so they've put some volunteers on the first bus and sent it off, and then tracked the bus's position on GPS to see if it's really going where they promised it would go, and not to a refugee camp. And only when they saw that the bus did indeed arrive to Austria, did everyone else get on the other buses, and so they were shipped off. Once again, without any checking of travel documents or visas, etc. If you were at the side of that road and you were brown, the Hungarian government took you to Western Europe for free. Oh, and by the way, as this bus action was going on, police in Budapest were busy battling a mob of 1,000 football hooligans who wanted to make their way to Keleti to, I guess, beat up some migrants. Well, I guess the football match ended, and were throwing
fucking ban soccer. Europe would be a peaceful continent if not for soccer.
That's true.
At police
Actually
and
true.
also set a police car on fire. Yeah, I guess they were passionate about wanting to protect Europe from the hordes of brown people who want to, destroy the country and burn shit down.
Yes,
and,
I'm Eve, and I'm like trying to help some
that
new guys out. Okay, good.
That was your first mistake. There's no kindness in such a rough place like Eve Online.
Yeah.
The Hungarian government could have been justified.
The amount of times I get quoted "all is fair in love and war," some dog shit every goddamn time. Yeah, I mean, these people should be like
fucking deep.
It is that deep to them. They are evil. They are evil with it, bro.
Actual fucking ghouls.
They are actual fucking ghouls. Bro, you have no idea.
You're so right. I haven't the fucking foggiest.
Because it was a chaotic situation, completely out of control. So what other choice do they have to prevent, rioting and stuff? And that would be a correct assessment if the busing of migrants didn't continue for weeks and weeks afterwards. This went on until mid-October, until the wall, huge air quotes, was completely finished. And this is where it was built. Now, do you see a potential problem with this arrangement? So yeah, all Hungary did was divert the flow of migrants to Croatia and Slovenia. And the flow of people would actually not stop until March next year, 2016, when all countries on the Balkan Peninsula closed down their borders, effectively ending the most severe period of the Eastern European migrant crisis. In the meantime, if you were a brown person in Hungary without any travel documents, Orbán gave you a free ride to Austria. And the scale really was industrial, mind you. This Hungarian state news agency article described the situation as follows. Trains carry migrants continuously from Hegyeshalom to Austria. Hegyeshalom being a northwest Hungarian border city. Every hour, trains full of migrants arrive to the Hegyeshalom train station, the article says. When a train from Keleti rolls into one side of the platform, the migrants board the train standing on the other side, under the guidance of Hungarian police. Between the arrival and departure of trains, no one can leave the platforms. And it wasn't just the trains. From the south of Hungary, from Röszke, they basically collected every single migrant, put them on buses, and took them to, once again, Hegyeshalom, where they showed them where the border is, and then just left them there. Of course, all the migrants went to Western Europe. And here's some pictures of the empty refugee camp at Szent Gotthard, next to the Austrian border. As you can see, it's completely empty. That's because all the migrants at this point were already in Austria. So hundreds of thousands of people made it to Western Europe this way, unchecked, most of them not even registered. And boy, I sure hope that some unsavory characters will not take advantage of this regime. You know, some people with some religious fundamentalist ideas who want to go to Western Europe and, commit some naughty things. And so let's talk about the November 2015 Paris attacks. A series of terrorist attacks committed by ISIS militants that left 130 people dead and hundreds more injured. It consisted of 3 attacks, namely the Stade de France Stadium suicide bombings.
Did the people that committed the 2015 attacks come through, like, these buses? Or?
Subsequent restaurant shootings and bombings.
The what?
And of
the
course the
2015
The 2015
attacks.
Paris attacks, like ISIS.
Bro, I have no fucking clue.
Just another liberal who's got no idea what he's talking about. Typical.
Bataclan Theater massacre, and that alone killed 90 people. And this is Salah Abdeslam, the organizer of these terrorist attacks. He provided logistics support to the terrorists, and he also recruited them, including in front of Keleti railway station in Budapest, where he recruited 2 people and then took them to Western Europe by car. And those 2 actually went on and took part in the Paris terrorist attacks. And I want you to take a look at this picture. You know, what do we see here? Well, on the right, it's the Hungarian government's latest billboard at the time, which was just a picture of the migrants walking through a field and a huge stop sign next to it. And behind it is the hotel where Salah Abdeslam actually lived, while he was recruiting at Keleti, and also bought 200,000 SIM cards under a homeless person's name. Do you know how we know this? After the Paris attacks, the Belgian Secret Service noticed that many of the terrorists have Hungarian SIM cards. And then the Belgians went ahead and warned the Hungarians that,
dude, this
maybe
person
they
is
should
not
be investigated or something. And this is how they found out that
fight.
it was Salah Abdeslam. After the terrorist attacks. And Salah Abdeslam didn't just stop there. In January 2016, he actually came to Hungary to negotiate with a Hungarian far-right militia called Nemzeti Arcvonal, led by some gun-nut crazy called István Györkös, who, by the way, killed a police officer when the police tried to raid his home looking for weapons. And this is just unbelievable.
Hungarian
it's just
Roger
beyond
Stone?
absurd. Speaking of which, let's read the Hungarian government spokesperson's tweet again, in light of all this new information. No, PM Orbán did not let illegal immigrants into Europe. In fact, Hungary was one of the few EU member states that stood up against illegal migration. Aha.
I'm so
in reality,
fucking fucked,
it was
man. I'm so fucking
absolutely
fucked.
in Orbán's best interest to have as many unchecked migrants in Western Europe as possible. Because if they cause social unrest or terrorist attacks, that will lead to an increase in far-right support. And the more far-right politicians there are in power, the more political wiggle room will Orbán have. Who, by the way, is also a far-righter, if you haven't noticed. And his political...
Alright. So, I mean, in a way there's some solidarity that the the global right and left are handling the migrant crisis the exact same fucking way.
Like a boss, that's what I would say.
Like a boss, yeah. Ah, shit, there's a problem in our place. Let's ship it elsewhere. Like,
yeah.
It is tough because It's a lot easier if you could say we're the party of people that gets rid of the problem quickly and easily. That's one thing, but if you're the party that's like, okay, we're gonna sit down, we're gonna, spend some money, we're gonna address this properly. People are like, yo, what the fuck, dude? You can't say, well, if we don't, then people are gonna coalesce on the streets and there's gonna be more problems. People don't think long term. So if you're Joe Democrat, how do you convince the populace that it's a better thing to do to sit down, address the problem, versus pass the buck? Go. Solve liberal policy right now.
Haktua.
Good call. Didn't think
Bro, this thing is unfucking killable.
I have zero concept of what EVE Online gameplay even looks like.
I'm basically just dying a bunch. That's what's happening. All right.
Should you play EVE?
Shout out to Hugo. He actually just
to help you find.
Okay.
Fuck my life.
Okay, the video I'm watching is just a guy flying around. A lot?
I'm actually still looking, man.
And mining an asteroid. Awesome.
No, just stop looking at the video. Stop looking at the video.
Fake news!
I don't know.
JD Vance holds press conference in Israel. I'm good. I don't care. Bro, I don't know why I'm so afraid of saying that Israel-Palestine doesn't rank in my top 5 issues. Like, I feel like that's a... I just... Like, I don't know. I crashed a No Kings paid protester meeting. Okay. Sounds like it'd be funny for shits and giggles, but that's not really the arc we're going on here. Let's watch... we could watch liberal infighting between Hutch and Mr. Pondering Politics. We're government's still shut down, which is wild. We're on day 9+10, which is pretty epic. You know what? I think I will watch the liberal infighting. I don't know. Fuck, man. I'm torn. There's a Fox the 5 video that just popped up. I can't. I don't want to watch food shops and reacting to it. Alright.
We're taking...
Also, who the fuck is food shops?
No risks with the Supreme Court by thinking the Supreme Court is this sacrosanct institution that if we look at it the wrong way, it's going to cause, I don't know, this massive political catastrophe for us. We're already on the cusp of political catastrophe because so many people, you included, think that it's like you're playing with dynamite.
You are.
Maybe we need to start taking risks, bro.
But you are playing with dynamite if you do this.
You're frustrating me because you give me the impression of somebody.
And this is a good microcosm because the Mr. Pondering Politics, like, his whole shtick is he watches the news 24/7 and makes video clips of it. I respect him a lot. He's a cool dude, it seems like. But, like, I feel like he's more prone to his brain breaking. Just as a resident broken brain haver, like, I can understand why he'd be more pissed. And from the, like, 30 minutes that I've already watched of this, I feel like Hutch is way too weak on things, but
who never wants to fight and who only wants to fight when we're 1 inch away from success, which isn't going to happen.
We're fighting right now, and I support it wholeheartedly, bro.
No.
Why is there a sensitive content warning on food? Oh. What is even happening? Oh my god. Okay. Fuck that.
Wait a minute.
I never want to fight.
Did I just say?
The fight. I love the fight that we're doing right now.
I think if Schumer kicked the can down the road again, if he had done what he did in April, in 2 months, you would have that was the right move to make. To the extent that you
hide the...
Wait a minute.
Demi ad.
Hey, asshole, wait a minute. You see what's
So read the description here.
On the podcast, bro. I told you they should pick this fight right now. Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, buddy. I was trying to find you this poll. You mentioned something about
bro, well, there's a torture device or something.
Extreme. I have a bookmark somewhere. It's a recent poll. Actually, it's starting to turn around. More Americans believe that the Republican Party finally is more extreme.
But then that means I have to take a first stab guess at what country. I'm in a tough spot here.
Trying to find this poll for you.
Turkey.
Do you still have a cough?
Yeah, bro. Yeah, it's
like a 3-week cough, man. That's crazy.
It's brutal.
Did you go to a doctor?
Borders Russia to the southeast.
Steroid,
China?
2 days ago, and we're gonna see where it goes. But
I would
what borders China to the north? Is this North Korea?
It's atrocious. As a guy who doesn't vape or smoke
Bulldog.
or do anything else, and who talks, for a living.
Mongolia. Never mind.
It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
But real quick though.
Well, first of all, that wouldn't surprise me. By the way, that makes sense. Like usually when there's a party in power, the public
What's there's Navy
moves
rum
away from the party in power, and so it just kind of makes sense that.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a poll for you. I have a bookmark
I
somewhere.
take you at your word. I don't have. Yeah.
No, I know, but I know you like to have that sort of stuff in your back pocket. But no, listen. As far as I'm concerned, like I haven't heard Pisco weigh in on this.
Where the fuck is the painkiller from?
This is a big deal. This is a big fucking deal because all the, professional legal commentators that I follow, like Mark Elias, somebody mentioned Mark Elias on Twitter when I was freaking out about this. And like, hey, don't worry, we've got Mark Elias in our back pocket. And it's like, Mark Elias is the one freaking out about this. He did a video with Brian Tyler Cohen. He's like, it's probably not going to go our way.
It's one of the North ones.
The Supreme Court's probably going to gut the VRA. Now, not a guarantee that that's going to happen, but it seems more likely than not. So it's not just me being a Chicken Little here. It's actually the people who do not just political commentary, but professional legal commentary and who wage these legal battles. Who are saying,
no. I've been aware of I know how bad this is. Yeah.
But my point is, and this is where I was just curious because I couldn't quite remember where you were on this, but. We are 100% agreement that it's no longer optional. This court has to change, right? Like you recognize that not only can they kill
the BVI. Wait, I looked up. Wow, that's bullshit. I looked up Virgin because I thought it might be the BVI or American Virgin. I got robbed.
No, that's just a matter of fact. But they are now moving to potentially kill us from ever getting back into power. Like you agree that they are now the unavoidable obstacle. In the long run, right?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
I just want to make sure we're on the same page there. So now that we agree on that, it's just simply a matter of what do we do about it with respect to campaign.
Yeah, it's a matter of strategy.
Yeah.
Did you? I don't know if you heard what I was saying, but
I heard, and that's why I was jumping in while I was looking for this poll real quick. I'm not saying Democrats probably should start talking about it at some point, but my point is they should have been talking about it from the beginning. This kind of goes back to my longstanding frustration.
Like what? When you say beginning, what do you mean? Like when?
When they had power. This is something that when President Biden took office, he appointed a commission at the behest of a lot of people about Supreme Court reform, and it was one of the first commissions put out. They did their work, and he basically just said, "We're going to disregard it." And then the Supreme Court came out with its.
So Republicans actually have just straight up not talked about court packing at all since 2020, when it was thought that Biden might consider maybe packing the courts. Okay.
immunity decision. And it finally got Biden to the point where even Biden, Mr. Institutionalist Biden, Mr. Just leave everything as it is Biden.
Bullshit. That's anti-American bias. The bacon martini didn't win it. Bullshit.
Was like, fuck, this is not what I expected. We need to have a constitutional amendment to get rid of presidential immunity, and we need to institute Supreme Court reform. We need to have term limits, things like that. So Biden was just wrong about Supreme Court reform. The progressives are right. He was dead wrong. And even he realized at the end, oh, fuck, this has gone much worse than I expected.
What are we even allowed to do?
Democrats, no, he was wrong about this.
Because can the court just say, actually, we don't want to be reformed and strike down anything?
And my point is... But wait, I want to push back because when Biden was talking about, I think you're referring to the fact that he came out against court packing when he ran in 2020. I think that came up on a debate stage.
I think he opposed, if I remember correctly, any sort of substantive court reform.
What I want to push back on is the idea that it is entirely possible that internally he felt like court packing was necessary, but he understood that running on it would be extremely risky. Because if he
then why did he come out with an amendment? Why did he come out?
Well, he was in power at that point. Yeah. That's the difference, right? Like,
but he was in power for 4 years.
Right, but I'm saying
look up to see like what laws govern the Supreme Court.
If you run, like if you're Joe Biden and you run on court packing in 2020, and then you lose, then what do you think Donald Trump and the Republicans are going to do in that spot?
I'm talking about him after he got back. I'm talking about when he got elected. When he got elected, he proposed a presidential commission to look into Supreme Court reform, and they came up with a bunch of options. The PDF is out there. It's really good, comprehensive, about term limits, about supermajority requirements if they're going to strike down a law as unconstitutional, about elected Supreme Court justices. They came up with a whole host of options that not only do many of our states, which are, of course are microcosms of the federal government because they have 3 branches of their own. It's like, hey, if states elect their Supreme Court justices, why can't we? Hey, if states, have term limits on their Supreme Court justices, why can't we? Hey, if there are mandatory retirement ages for their Supreme Court justices, why can't we? Et cetera and so forth. He was in power at the time, and for 3 years, he just kind of swept it under the rug. Then when he was in power, and it was after the Trump immunity decision, that was the game changer. And so he was like, we need a new...
The judges, both of the Supreme and inferior courts, shall hold their offices during good behavior. Do we have a legal definition of being a good boy? Is that in the Constitution somewhere?
Constitutional amendment to get rid of it was like the No Kings Amendment or something like that. We're going to get rid of presidential immunity, and we need to pass a law to expand, not to expand the court, but to put term limits, I think. And there was like another provision as well.
I
think
remember.
A binding code of conduct.
I remember.
The point is, Biden did that when he was in power, and I think it was before the election, if I remember correctly, because I think Kamala Harris ran on it as well. Or suggested it as well. She didn't make it like a centerpiece point of her campaign.
Right.
But this is something that the Democrats should have been doing when they were in power. They shouldn't have waited until the last moments of the election to talk about it. I mean, I had Sheldon Whitehouse on after the election, and he said the same thing. He's like, we fucked up. The approval for the Supreme Court was incredibly low after the Dobbs decision, and then the scandal surrounding Clarence Thomas, his lack of disclosure, and then the Trump immunity decision. That was a triple threat. That was back to back to back. Their approval was at historic lows, and we were in power. We should have tried to invest political capital in saying, hey, listen, this court doesn't have your back. They're partisanly skewed towards the right. We try to do X, they strike it down. We try to do Y, they strike it down. All these things.
So do you mean they should have actually tried to take a swing at it when Biden was president, or tried to start laying the foundation?
Both.
Well, let me push back on the first point. That was just not going to happen, right? He was never going to be able to have the votes to pack the court when he was president.
I think that there's still an argument to be made that he should have tried anyway.
What?
I mean, it's not. Because you agree, did Biden take a swing at Build Back Better?
Well, that's a bit different because
did he take a swing at it?
No, he did, but in that case, he knew that he was going to be able to negotiate something, and so he did get something from that negotiation. Like, what could he have possibly gotten from?
Are you guys extreme liberalists? Sure, why not? Radically want to enforce democracy, a constitutional republic, individual rights, states' rights, a federal system. I'm pretty extreme on that one. Yep.
That Congress, that, like, I'm just trying to, what plausible route do you think he had to packing the court during his presidency?
I'm not saying that he could have succeeded. I'm saying that much like with Build Back Better, like he didn't get Build Back Better accomplished. He got a lot of it folded into the Inflation Reduction Act, but it wasn't like 80%. It wasn't even, I don't even know if it was 50%. It was just a substantial portion of the Build Back Better bill was folded into the IRA. So this idea that they only take votes on shit that they know is going to pass is just simply not true. Biden did have failed votes. It wasn't like a Speaker Pelosi.
No, but that's like normal. That's like normal negotiation with Congress, though. Like I'm sure he knew he wasn't going to get his entire Build Back Better agenda, but you negotiate, and so that's what he did, and then he got a lot of those provisions codified into law. Like, what are you negotiating with packing the court? It's not just about packing the court. It's about binding code of conduct. It's about potential term limits. It's about all sorts of things. There are many reforms that we could have. All those things require getting rid of the filibuster, and that was
for it to pass.
Yeah, that was never on the table.
Well, Build Back Better was never on the table either.
No, but I don't. These are not the same thing. Like he did. Like
I know they're not the same thing, but my point is this idea that we can't take a swing at it because we won't get what we wanted is absurd. By that logic, they shouldn't have done.
But if you take a swing at it and you know you're going to lose, then you're really risking serious escalation. When Republicans,
he knew he was going to lose on Build Back Better too.
No, but you're not listening. The Build Back Better, he took a swing on that because he knew he was going to be able to negotiate something and get, like, let's say
How do you know?
Well, because that's how negotiations work. Like that's,
he was
like,
confident. This is where my frustration is, and this is why I want to have this conversation with you. I blame your attitude, the prevalence of your attitude on where.
Like, I don't know. We have one party that sits back, waits till opinions are of, like, a high enough place to then take a swing on it, except in some issues where they go against opinion polling. But that's the minority versus one that just does a bunch of shit and then post hoc rationalizes all of it. It's like, I'm not saying we should match the Republicans on that, but also, like, we can adopt a little bit of it. Like, I don't know, a permanent high road has gotten us fucking nowhere. Like, you could just take swings in the dark. Just a bit. I don't know. It's like, you can't just wait for opinion polling to reach a comfortable level before trying to make a move. Or you can't, like, say, well, I don't think I'm going to get everything in this. It's like, sometimes you throw a punch just to throw it. Or not just to throw it, but to have thrown it. Yeah, why not? So long as they don't commit any crimes.
Where we are right now with the court, because by your logic, Hutch, when do we ever make a move on the court? When? You were against Democrats ever.
How do you know someone's extreme if they don't do anything?
I mean, I would say no, but they do, and many different extremist groups are allowed to live in the U.S. because we have freedom of whatever religion laws. I'd say simply no, but that's
I think it's unhealthy and bad to hold extreme values like that, but, like, you can't legislate away, hey, if you believe something, you can't live here. That's not really something we do in a free and open society. Like, it's not good, but also I would agree with you on that, but again, what's the policy prescription? Do you do a check to fill out a questionnaire to see what you believe, and then you start banning people based on their, like, religious beliefs? I don't think that leads to great outcomes. I think it's more like, unless you have, like, an actual violent history or something, kind of accept you no matter what, kind of. And then until you do something stupid, like, that's kind of where it ends. There's a lot of conditions on that, but roughly, like, we don't really preempt that so much as react to it. So what do you mean? What do you like? What would be the, again, what would be like the prescription for that? Do you like make a master registry of all like religious organizations, and then if they start growing above a certain member threshold, then then what, you deport everybody? Like I can understand what you're saying. I just don't know what you do about it without crossing some serious lines.
Okay, is he just reposting? I'm confused. Wait.
I don't know. You pinned it.
Oh, that's why I did. Wait, why did I do that? I didn't want to do that. Sorry, I deleted that message.
Okay.
I'm switching between so many. Right now, my brain is in recovery mode right now. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. So, okay. Saying something is bad is, sure, whatever. Like, it doesn't really carry much weight. Like, I feel like it's not the same as like, well, I'm just asking questions. I just think it's a little weird. It's like, okay, but what are you arguing for? Like, what ought be done? It's not a policy position to say extremism is bad. That's kind of like a, yeah, no shit.
Yeah, everyone would agree with that.
Hi, Trump thinks ADHD is tearing America apart. I I don't know if it's ADHD. I think it's just like his lack of any conviction on anything. His ability to be swayed and desire to feed his ego. I think of the top 5 mental illnesses that affect him. Don't necessarily know if ADHD is on one of them, but I'm not saying he's impulsive. I'm saying he's easily swayed. So impulsive would mean he is the driver of whatever is happening. I'm saying external influences very easily. Yes, that's what I'm saying. I don't think a lot of the stuff necessarily comes from him. It comes from shit he's heard about or read about, or has like Stephen Miller or Putin telling him, that he then goes and acts on. Not him arriving at some position and acting on it. I think cult mentality, I don't know if it necessarily is limited to... Where do you think extremism comes from? That's a that's a big question.
Dustin, can you solve something really quickly?
Sure.
Where does extreme? No, that was the joke.
Oh, yeah,
where does it?
Well, actually, my opinion of where extremism comes from is it comes from disaffected people who are looking for an outlet to voice their, like feeling lost, and attaching themselves to something that will claim them, that purports to represent them, that acknowledges their hurt. I know Hutch. I think he's part of the problem. He vapes on stream. He's 56 years behind the times when it comes to basic... What do you mean basic levels of social justice? The neglected... I'd say more so the neglected than the adventurous. Oh. Does he make a positive argument? He's like, I'm vaping, I love this vape. I'm being a little bit of a shitter. My apologies.
No, he says that.
I don't know. I feel like if you want to go after Hutch, the big reason, and the reason I'm like kind of not upset, but like is that it's the sit back, do nothing mentality that I'm like annoyed with, to say the least. Like I'm much more partial to Josiah's point here of like influencers are narcissistic. That is true. It does take a narcissist to click go live and say, out of the thousands of motherfuckers on here, I deserve people's attention. Like, that's the strip. Before I hit go live every like time I stream, I'm like, why the fuck am I even doing this? Who the fuck's gonna listen to my dumbass? But there are individuals that have crazy fantasies, but where do you think those fantasies come from? Like, I feel like if you're, so I'm sure there's people that have normal social lives, and they're like, man, it'd be really funky if we turn this government fascist. I'm sure that person exists, but a lot of times I would say it's a disaffected person attaching themselves into someone that claims them.
We do not claim this. Never mind.
Yeah, whatever the joke was went right over my head.
I'm sorry.
It bounced straight into
You know when people are like, we don't claim this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying that. Because you said claim him, and I was saying we do. Yeah, whatever.
We're Eve
Jesus
Online
Christ.
in brain-breaking recovery mode has led to soundboard.
I'm in recovery mode right now.
Been there. So is Trump influencing in general trends towards him? Yeah, I mean, I would say that he's much more of a like influencer type president. It's like not even going off opinion polling, but just straight up what people in his immediate vicinity are saying to him on like Truth Social. But he's also had done this like double whammy thing of making his own echo chambers, so that everything he does is a good decision. So now we're seeing just even more unhinged shit. Because that's where I put my face cam. It's anybody's video. I don't know.
You are being commanded.
I'm being commanded. I feel I'm being dominated by Hutch here. Wait, is O'Brien the one that got Winston into the cult and then turned on him? Or am I thinking of the wrong guy? Not the cult, the resistance thing. Yeah, okay. It's been a minute since I read it. Yeah, that's...
Wait,
yeah.
What did he say?
So, have you read 1984 back?
No. Oh, okay, I understand.
But yeah, so basically this O'Brien guy indoctrinates the protagonist and his girlfriend-ish, what would you even call her? Into this like decentralized resistance movement, and then turns on them. Which I can see the comparison.
I guess. I don't. Sure. Also, your mic is sometimes acting up. Now it's fine, but it was just fucked up 2 seconds
God
ago.
damn it.
Yeah, now it's fine. I don't know what the hell's wrong with it.
I gotta get a new audio interface. Yeah, I mean, JFK was pretty damn charismatic. Obama, I'd say, had a lot more class than pretty much any other president. But yeah, I mean, they were all charismatic presidents. I don't necessarily buy the it all starts from ADHD idea. I'd probably point more towards like inflated ego and whatnot, because like, what a bold claim of like, I deserve to lead this country of hundreds of millions of people. It is me and no one else that should be doing this. Like, I feel like that's more ego driven. I don't necessarily think that's ADHD, but I'm not a fucking psychiatrist. Yes. Well, then, are you arguing our whole country has ADHD? Because we voted for the fucking insurrectionist rapist, like, 4 years after he tried to overthrow the government.
No.
I have not tried debating Republicans on Reddit. I get enough on Twitch. People trickle in, call me, whatever. But I don't know. I'm moving away from entertaining the like 30% of MAGA. I want to move towards talking with people who I share the same like just factual basis with, to talk like, okay, what should policy be going forward? Not Donald Trump said fucking piss shit cum fuck? No! Which was literally every stream up until like 3 days ago. So we're not that far removed. Ironically, what hasn't been reincarnate. If close your mind, you're more. Yeah, that is true. Like, once you start down the path of the echo chamber, anything that would pull you out of it or challenge it, you reach a critical point where it's, I can be swayed by things that cause cognitive dissonance versus I reject anything that causes cognitive dissonance. Because I'm never bringing a Republican over. I'm not looking to convert Republicans. Well, that's not true. I'm not looking to convert MAGA. I'll debate a Republican because I do genuinely believe there is value in like conservative ideology, but I don't think MAGA represents conservative ideology in the fucking slightest. I'm willing to hear arguments for like deregulating and lower taxes and the appropriate level of social programs to have in this country, but I'm not willing to hear the arguments of should the National Guard be going in against the governor's wills to go police their cities. Nah, we have a central party. It's the fucking Democrats right now. Because, like it or not, the right is MAGA right now. Like, the way I see it is like, there is no center. The center is if you're fine exactly as everything is today, with the National Guard fucking invading cities, with the ice everywhere, shut down for 21 days. Well, I would disagree with one part. It is populist and it is fascist, but I would not say it's libertarian. Think of the expansion of the federal government that we've had in even just this first term. Would a libertarian vote for federal officers in all our major cities, superseding states' rights? And also hyper-protectionist trade policy, and also interventionism in, like, Venezuela. That's not libertarian in the fucking slightest. Look, the way our system is set up is our multiple parties are within the primaries. Like, within the Democratic Party, we've got our centrist Dems, we've got our liberals, we've got our social democrats, and the communists come and shout, but they don't actually vote, so they don't fucking matter. But that's where we hash out our, like, multiple parties, and then our broad strokes, left and right, put up their best candidate that everyone kind of agrees on. Not really, but good enough, essentially. Because, like, within the right, too, you've got the evangelists, you've got the libertarians, you've got the populist MAGA types, you've got the neocons, you've got the... yeah. again, I don't think you're applying the word libertarian correctly. Like, I think Rand Paul isn't like, I don't think he's corrupting anybody. And I don't think like advocating for smaller federal government's necessarily a bad thing. That's an argument I'm willing to listen to. Why is it always you can't tax the super rich, they'll leave, and not why the from the good society? Bro, what year do you want to go back to? Yeah, I don't buy the argument you can't tax the super rich, they'll leave. I think what is it called? The Laffer curve, where it's the like efficacy of taxing. Yeah, we're a mixed economy, and the best economy is a mixed economy because of externalities. Like, I feel like the libertarians took the first lesson of supply and demand of economics and then ignored the rest of it, which is how do we use government policy to address negative and positive externalities. Like, they took the first unit and then ignored the rest of it. Just like, come on, guys. I wouldn't buy that. I think we just live in a hyper online thing where people have way more fucking exposure to things that they disagree with. And cognitive dissonance hurts people. You know, like, there's a reason that people build echo chambers, is because it's not fun to have all this cognitive dissonance. You know, that's how I eventually arrived at, like, liberal, center-left-ish policies. Is like, okay, when I was a libertarian, too much cognitive dissonance. And I actually moved to the right, and I was like, this is also too much cognitive dissonance. And then I went to like, the socialist left, I was like, this is also too much cognitive dissonance. I can make a good case that back in medieval times, the duelists were the most... That's a good comment. Get rid of the internet and teach value. Yeah, unfortunately, we can't go backwards. Like, well, oh, that's not true. We can only go backwards, like, with 10 years of social progress. We can't go back to the 1930s, nor should we, because there's like, I don't think I want to go back to the Great Depression. I'll pass on that, but
I can't with this chat.
this is always like what chat's like.
Yes, I don't know. Snoop, to me, that what you just said like sounds good on a podcast, but makes literally zero sense. I don't know what what are you saying? I don't know. Get what? You mean like internet for kids? Or like there are no phones in school? Or you mean like no, we have to like write down on pieces of paper the stuff that we're gonna trade to the other country and then send them the letter or something? Like, is that what you mean?
There we go. I'll put an epic person's face up that I'm willing to have above me. There we go.
No, don't change the face. To keep the face above you. I know it.
I fucking love this picture. Wait till AWS takes over. Bro, we're already there. Do you know how much like infrastructure for like public stuff and every internet-based company just went down yesterday? We wouldn't have... Bro, I will take the issues of ChatGPT over the Great Depression any fucking day. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Or the start of World War II. Like, I'm sorry, dude. Like, please reason that one.
Who would live in the moment?
Bro.
Okay, this is a tool.
Yep.
Oh my god, wait, that's good. That's good.
A good troll. It worked. I got fucking baited. Poor, but bro, you can go to a poor country. You could go be a nomad in Mongolia if you really want. But something's telling me you'd rather stay where you are, where you got internet access and you can go chat on Twitch. Like, you can go do all of the stuff you're purporting.
It's free, bro.
I lack the funds. Bro, you can turn off your computer. You can stop paying for internet. This is the bet. Wait, no. If you really want to live the 1930s lifestyle, go get the fucking paper. Wear one of those caps. I don't even know what the fuck. Go work in the construction sites. Climb like giant buildings with no safety harnesses or something.
Yeah, they're those guys are hiring all the time. You can do that, and you'll get paid.
And then you get some pretty good benefits too.
Yeah.
You're a photographer?
You bet. I swear to God, if you shoot on digital, okay, good. Thank God.
Yeah. Okay, that's pretty sick. Nice. What do you? What kind of things do you shoot? If it's people reading newspapers at newspaper stands, I'm banning you instantly. Okay, that's fair. You can go to other countries, like the U.S. dollar. I'm assuming everyone's American because fucking greatest nation in the fucking world. Barely at this point, but we're hanging on. Oh damn, this is sick. These are your shots. These are awesome. What are you trying to accelerate towards? A Canadian liberal. What are you trying to take down? Is like the system kind of fine? Yeah, no, these are cool shots, man.
Will you shut up, man? Listen, who is...
Thanks for the follow. We got the double Biden blast. I would agree we're accelerating towards... yeah, they made... I think Twitch had an update to auto-mod. I've been meaning to disable that. My bad. I'll just let all the messages go through. We are accelerating towards climate change. That is true. Good thing liberals and the left actually do shit about it. Rather than saying... I fucking hate solar panels. The wind turbines, they piss off the whales. We need to go back to clean coal. I don't know, man.
The fuck are these goddamn notifications, man?
Oh, yeah, I thought I was supposed to be joining the server here. Guys, do we know what fucking country this is? Are you an accelerationist or are you an eco-terrorist? No, I'm kidding. Neolib's just in it for the money. I have a little more faith in people. I don't think people like Bernie or like generally are in it for the money. I don't think you wake up and say, I want to go into politics to make money. I think the money is there and it's attractive and it can, not necessarily does, but can sway people on the margins. But you open yourself up to a lot of public shit, and that doesn't feel good. Bernie hates the term liberal. That's news to me. But hate to tell him, he is liberal. If you believe in like voting and shit. pretty liberal of him.
That's what he says. He says, "Goddamn liberals."
The 1% they're making everybody vote. Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
So I've heard many people are saying. Oh yeah, how do you feel about the Canadian Prime Minister kind of playing nice with Trump? I know people in Canada have very mixed feelings on that. I mean, look, he's an old man who's been accruing like six-figure salaries for most of his life. Like, he's gonna have wealth. Wait, who? You voted for? What's his name? Like Pierre Polivoire, something like that.
You voted conservative because the guy was because the blue guy was was conservative. What?
So we have a couple Canadians in chat. I remember we covered the whole election a while ago, and we just reserved to just calling him PP. I feel like when we watched it was like, okay, look, Polivoire is probably a lot fucking worse. I don't understand your mentality between, okay, one's bad, one's worse. Let me vote for worse. Unless you are, like, truly an accelerationist. No, not familiar with the term. Elaborate. Let's go to Jordan to Western Sahara. Easy.
Okay, I looked up what carpetbagger means. I don't understand what. I don't know how he. What?
The god of. I only forgot Tunisia.
Yeah, man. Okay. I don't know. He bought the election, guys. Obviously.
Okay, but if you go policy,
wasn't he like a finance man? No, he wasn't a finance guy. That's
okay. What if you evaluate them both on the? Because it seems like climate is your number one issue. If you evaluate them, like bar for bar on climate policy, how do they stack up? Yes, yes. Thank you. Yes. Why would you vote for the guy that's sympathetic towards MAGA? Isn't this the guy? What are the other dulls? Dreidel. Refined petroleum, 41 billion. I know Bahrain when I see it. Oh shit, I thought I was gonna get it. Bull fucking Garrett, Romania, Serbia? No, a little north of Serbia. Carney bought a seat. Okay, but how do you feel about their policies on climate? If that's your number one thing, unless your number one thing is something else. Oh my god, north of Serbia. I'm actually stupid, right? Yes, I am. I don't know the fucking Balkans that well. Hungary? Nope. Lithuania. That's really, really far. Okay, whatever. First thing our so-called liberal government did is strip rights from First Nations. Okay, what does that have to do with the... Okay, so is the First Nations your top issue, or is climate policy? I'm gonna keep asking you this question until I get an answer. Look, I'm here advocating against these tariffs. I don't want to piss Canada off. That feels really bad. But also, you voted for the guy who's sympathetic to Trump. Like, I don't understand your approach to this. Also, what is the difference in policy on the climate?
Pierre Poilievre hates Trump. Yeah, okay, bro. It's whatever. I think I gotta shoot myself in the head. Honestly, I'm gonna leave this call.
All right, see you, brother.
Yeah, see ya. Sorry. Yeah.
I did not actually. I thought, okay, because Twitch gives me $0.00, so I didn't even know if ads ever actually fucking ran. My bad. I guess it's working. J6 rioter charged with threatening Hakeem Jeffries. Damn. I suppose. Still, like, what? Okay, let me ask this different. What is your top issue?
We're investing political capital and trying to make it a state. You always said it was a low salience issue. Low salience issue. Stop talking about it, Josiah. Low salience issue. It'd be great if we could do it. It'd be great if we could do it, but it's a low salience issue.
So hold on. Let me try to explain.
Well, wait. My point is, it is simply a fact. It's not a matter of opinion. If you disagree, you're objectively wrong. This court is an insurmountable obstacle to a democratic agenda, and now it's poised to become an insurmountable obstacle to Democrats ever taking back the House. That is on balance the probability. The court has to be reformed. It must. It's no longer.
Our provincial So your number one is safe injection spots? Is that what you're saying?
Longer an option.
Yeah. No,
So it goes drug policy, but then I'm gonna need you to be a little more specific, I think.
So I'm with you on court reform. I've never not been with you on court reform.
I understand you're not.
Let me make my point.
You have been with court reform in principle. You just have no answers, or you're willing to take no risks in getting to it.
No, I do.
Okay,
so
go ahead.
So let me explain. So there's a difference between. Let me put it this way, okay? Like when it comes to court reform, you would agree that this is in a separate kind of special category than like legislation, right? So when we talk about legislation.
Yes, of course. But again, you're dancing around all of these questions. Okay. I don't think that's something you should type on the open internet.
It's very normal that this is just how Congress has always functioned. That there's gonna be some kind of negotiation with Congress, and then a lot of the provisions are going to be radically changed. A lot of the provisions are going to be scrapped, and then a lot of the provisions are going to remain. That's just how every major kind of landmark legislation gets done. When it comes to court reform, that's something that.
Okay, you could have just said drug policies. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's this... Like, the answer's somewhere kind of in your response, but it's not, like, direct. Okay, your number one issue is drug policies. Is it better to let people shoot up anywhere and die, or to have, like, allocated zones to keep them explicitly off playgrounds and shit like that? Like, the point of a safe injection zone is to have a spot not necessarily in public, like away from other public infrastructure or playgrounds, to use needles. The point of the policy is to keep the needles and shit off the playgrounds. Are your liberal politicians like sitting at the bottom of the slide with baggies of like coke and heroin and saying, "Here, kids"? Like, no, the point is to keep it off other public infrastructure. To not have needles lying around.
When you take a swing at it, that's something that you need to, that's like...
I don't even know. We're libs, that's true, but if you're against safe injection zones and like liberal drug policy, you're voting for the Conservative Party in your country, like, and you care about the climate. My buddy Eric uses. True.
That's something that you need. There needs to be. How do I explain? How do I phrase this? Hold on.
While you're doing that, your chat, so many people in your chat are so fucking stupid. Susie Baca, this is how radicals lose the centrists. Okay, and they're talking about court packing. The Republicans pack the court. You stupid fucks.
Okay, wait.
Okay. Do we agree that drugs should not be, and needles and shit should not be on playgrounds? Yeah, I know. Just size a fucking boomer. Your chatter, Susie Baca. Drugs should not be being used on playgrounds. So what are the two solutions? You can either do the conservative thing, which is hyper police it. Well, like, or you can have zones set up to inject safely away from the playgrounds. Drugs in your car. True. Based.
They pack the court.
Susie, don't listen.
They pack the court by stealing
don't listen to him, Susie.
Obama's nominee, and then they pack the court again by changing their own fucking rule
don't listen
in
to him,
2020.
Susie.
They pack the court.
Susie,
and this idea that, oh my God, if
What the fuck is happening here?
if we defy precedent, they already have a Republican supermajority. It's very likely that at the end of Trump's presidency, they will have a MAGA supermajority.
Okay.
All right, give me the fucking spark notes.
Right.
We can't do anything because Republicans will then try to act in bad faith. They're going to act in bad faith anyway. Stupid fucks.
So this is a conversation.
We can't wield power.
I agree with Mr. Pondering Politics here, is that Republicans are going to do what they want to do no matter what. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm coming around on the idea of compelled mental health assistance, which would include what you're talking about. I just, like, I would be hesitant to fully stake myself on that until one, people are allowed to actually like say, okay, you're using drugs in public, you are going to rehab or going to jail. Until that infrastructure exists, you need some way to have needles immediately off the streets, off playgrounds, and safe injection zones, from what I've read, are pretty effective at that. People do use them if they feel they are not going to be arrested immediately. So for the short-term problem of having needles and shit on the ground, safe injection zones work. Long-term, compelled or like involuntary rehab, I do think is probably fair. But there does need to be some solution in the short term, and I think safe injection zones do a good job at that.
Power aggressively because you can't defend yourself because like what if like your abuser hit you back harder? People are so fucking dumb, objectively wrong and stupid.
All right. So you're very angry. I get it.
Base
okay,
crash
but sometimes
out.
I
Oh
feel
my
like we
god,
don't make our
doing
best
the I
decisions
hear
when
your
we're angry.
anger thing.
The point that I'm trying to make when it comes to court reform.
I explicitly stopped watching all the bullshit that coming out of the White House so I would be less fucking triggered. I think triggered is just a state of mind. I mean, sometimes, but some things are objective fact. Like, there are objective facts. Now, do people agree on what those objective facts are? No, and that kind of ruins the definition of objective, but what have Republicans not done? Because they're like, well, I don't know. If they want to do it, they will fucking do it. I once had a chatter do the Princess Bride me on me. Yeah, it literally is just it's part of the lexicon. At some point in like 2014, it became part of Gen Z's lingo. Or actually, I think we adopted it from millennials. And then at some point around, like, I'd say 2017 to 2018, people tried to reduce using it, but now people forgot that we tried to stop, and now we're back. So literally is back.
And the potential.
Okay, well, I wasn't there. I'm not quite yet.
Potentiality of actually like expanding the Supreme Court, adding Supreme Court justices. Would you agree that that's one thing, that's one goal that Democrats need to, that the moment that they go for that,
I'm obviously not talking about all of Hutch's chat. Just want to put that out there. Just the stupid ones.
The moment that they go for that needs,
like Susie.
Yes, that is the definition.
They need to pick
kind
their
of.
spot.
Oh my god. Okay, sorry. You're going to trigger me off something that you had nothing to do with. There was a whole argument in chat a couple days ago because I used the term woke right just as a joke about them being upset really easily. And then some genius chatters were in here like screaming at me for not using the term correctly because woke was started to refer to like social justice things. I was like, okay, sure. I'm just cracking a joke, like, chill. But again, that's that would be projecting something onto you that you had nothing to do with, which would be unfair.
For doing something like that. Because if you swing too early,
there we go.
In the case of Biden should have, gone around the country and talked about the importance of expanding the Supreme Court. The risk of that is so substantial because look what happened. Biden is inaugurated 4 years later. Republicans have another trifecta. And what is to stop them in that moment from saying, well, we already know what they're going to do the next time they get power. So we're just going to pack the court.
Sorry,
with
let me do this psychologically appropriate.
Who will let us, basically gerrymander our districts.
They already have a 6-3 conservative supermajority. Why would they do that? And even if they did do that, how would it fundamentally change anything?
You're just dismissing the possibility that they would add like 6 more justices if they knew that Democrats were going to do that the next time.
Well, yes,
I
know what PC means.
Why would they do that when they already have a supermajority? It's not like it's a 50-50.
Why would they do that?
What
do you mean?
Hold on. It's not even a 5-4.
No, what you're saying makes no sense. Why would they do that? Why do you think they would do that?
Hutch, what have they done?
Wait, I want you to answer that question.
Hang on, let's game this out.
I want you to answer that question. No. Steel man my argument. Why would they add 6 more justices?
I don't think there's a good steel man for your argument
Of course
because
wait, stop.
no,
Hold
wait,
on.
what? Hutch.
He has not.
How would it? How would it fundamentally? Is there a constitutional?
The Supreme Court has. They have not let Trump do everything he wants to do. You understand that, right? Like they have actually blocked him several times. They would add more justices.
I don't know about several times. Certainly not this term. I think the Kilmar Abrego Garcia won, and I think they've temporarily said that Lisa Cook can remain on the Federal Reserve. But other than that, anytime this has got,
it's like I don't know how much credit I'm willing to give the Supreme Court for doing like half-assed partial blocks of some relatively minor things when like every action being taken violates some statute. They're like, yeah, whatever. 14th Amendment, fuck that. Presidential immunity, why not? It's like, whoa, you stayed this once. It's like, whoa, okay. Seems like the Supreme Court's holding strong, guys. No. What the fuck?
Into the Supreme Court via the shadow docket? No, he's on a fucking winning streak.
But if you add 10 more, Trump appointees to the Supreme Court.
So yes, it would go. You're right. It would go from 95% victory rate to like 100% victory rate. But what's your point about what does that have to do about future packing of the court? What's your point?
Because they could pack the court so they could stack it with what's to stop them from adding 20 conservative justices that were hand selected by the Heritage Foundation?
Could that somehow prevent us from adding 40 the next time we're in power?
But here's what I'm saying. I'm saying if you think the gerrymandering is bad right now, when you have like a 20-seat majority, you can effectively like block Democrats from ever getting power ever again.
Hutch,
they already have the majority they need. It's a 6-3 Supreme Court. If they were gonna do it, they already could. They just haven't. All the Republicans have to do is fucking ask, and the court shall do, and Congress shall do. It's not even Republicans, it's just Trump and whoever has been in his ear last. All they have to do is ask, and the other two branches will capitulate instantly.
Let me ask you something. Let's use a different example. Let's use a different example. Have Democrats talked about abolishing the filibuster?
Some Democrats have, but it hasn't been like a plank of the party.
But has that been something that's been talked about, threatened, about carve-outs for the filibuster, about weakening the filibuster, either abolishing it wholesale or making more exceptions for the filibuster?
Not at the leadership level.
No, I'm pretty sure Biden also wanted nuclear carve-outs for the filibuster for Kirsten and Sinema, and they just refused to go along with it.
These were pretty limp threats. I mean, there was never...
So these two woke soy pussy lib... No, I'm kidding. I like both these guys. Essentially, the arguments about should Democrats have packed the Supreme Court, or should they going forward, or should that be a running point going forward? Packing the Supreme Court means either repealing the it's some 1880s law that sets the amount of justices at 9, but it's just the law, it can be repealed. Essentially what it's saying is, should we put like 20 liberal justices on? And that's rage bait. I know that's rage bait. Okay. Just leave it at 9. The problem is the Supreme Court, this institution that's meant to be nonpartisan, just the law, appointed by presidents as they come and go, right? But we have a president who is elected, who's appointed 3 support justices, and is now giving a rubber stamp to all the blatantly illegal shit that the Trump admin is doing. There's something wrong with the Supreme Court. They they deleted part of the 14th Amendment to even let him run again. They decided that he is above the law. So the people saying we need more, it's not we need vacant seats that will be filled over time. It's, yes, it does. That is true. But right now, the Supreme Court is very, like, it's almost like luck-based, where depending on how many people fucking die when you're in office, you get to set the tone and partisan lean of the Supreme Court, which is fucking ridiculous. You imagine if Obama had 3 Supreme Court justices? People would be losing their fucking minds. I don't know. There's something that doesn't work. No, so the Senate is different. The justices are supposed to be nonpartisan. The Senate's supposed to be partisan. The Senate's fine. Like, the arguments against the Senate is, well, why does, North Dakota have the same representation in the Senate as, like, California? But the Senate, it generally sits on that line. But we have a super out-of-balance Supreme Court that is rubber stamping, like, just blatantly illegal shit. There's something wrong. Like, I am in support of court reform. Packing the courts, I don't have a strong opinion on. I can hear the arguments for it. But, like, term limits, code of conduct, ethics, like, it should be a high standard to meet. And cash bail, I mean, I don't have a problem with ending cash bail because, again, bail is set by the judge determines whether or not somebody is even eligible for bail. The judge can say, no, every time you're out on bail, like, you go kill 5 more people. I'm not giving you bail. Or the judge can say, look, every time if we give you bail, you're not showing back up. The judge can say, I'm not giving you bail. I think judges should be more restrictive about bail in a lot of cases. I think you should empower judges and police officers to institutionalize people. But, again, it just comes down to, if you're poor, you have to wait in a jail cell for your court date. If you have enough wealth, you can go, like, off and do whatever the fuck you want until your court date. It's like, that doesn't seem very equitable to me. Call me too woke or whatever. But, like, the big argument I have against no cash bail is, okay, what's being put up at stake? Because the idea of bail is you put something of value up. That's your incentive to show back up to the court. I don't know what you do about that. If I hear, like, a good answer to, okay, what's the compelling factor for showing back up to court? Or if I see a statistic that's like, all right, 99% of people out on no cash bail show up for their court date, I'd be okay. Well, right, so that would be no bail. Or having high cash bail. But, like, so the inequity is that the line is drawn on wealth. The problem that you have to remedy in that case is, what does someone who doesn't have, like, disposable income put up at stake? Like, do you say, look, we're not doing cash bail, but we're putting okay, then what you're arguing is against bail, period. I can accuse you of a crime right now. Does that mean you should be jailed? Like, again, we presume innocence in this country. I keep saying again, whatever. We presume innocence in this country to prevent type 1 errors. And that means we let some type 2 errors happen. People should not be held for an unreasonable length of time. So someone accused of a crime who is going to show back up for their court date and who isn't going to reoffend in the meantime should be able to walk until their trial. It's not like they're not, like, still going to be tried for whatever their alleged crime is, but we don't know if they're guilty. And court dates could be like months and months and months out from an arrest. Like, I don't think it's right to have someone sacrifice months of their life before they've even been convicted of anything. Because money talk. Okay, well, that's a platitude, sure. But to which question is that meant to answer?
Really, any threat of that happening?
Has the leadership of the Democratic Party called for making exceptions to the filibuster to pass through their agenda? Even Biden did it. Do you agree with that?
I take your word on that one. If Biden said for the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, I think he did it for that, but nothing else.
Yes.
But, I mean,
Skill issue.
But there was never any threat of that happening.
Here's my point. Here's my point. Why have Republicans not totally abolished the filibuster yet?
Because both parties, like both parties in the Senate, the filibuster still has broad support.
Touche.
I have a different interpretation. You tell me if you think this is plausible. I think it's because for the most part, this was also the case in Trump term 1. I think it's because for the most part, they're able to get their agenda through either with the filibuster or by making little piecemeal carve-outs along the way. They fucked with the filibuster in this term.
You see what happens when they don't get their way on, like, some very, like, grand scheme minor things, like these ACA tax credits? They aren't willing to cave on anything. Like, when they hit resistance, they just plow through it. This is the first time in, like, the entire admin when there's been some serious pushback, and they're so unwilling to cave. Like, it just shows that they really haven't had to give up anything they want. Also, I would contend, again, or fuck it, whatever, I would contend, period, that this shutdown is about... I'd probably take that. Yeah, what was it, 14 more days, 2 more weeks? Yeah, why not? This shutdown, I believe, is truly about the closing the loophole on the power of the purse. Until December? It could very well be. That's crazy. I suppose, like, Democrats should not end the shutdown, like, without a good negotiation. But we're seeing what happens. Well, yes, those are the stipulations they're haggling over, but there's another not secret stipulation that people aren't talking about, which is there's a loophole in the way that the executive can like spend the funds allocated by Congress. So Congress says we're spending this much money and here's where we're spending it, and it's up to the executive to actually effectuate that spending. Now there's a loophole where the executive can challenge the spending, and Congress has 45 days to review that challenge and then decide whether or not they accept it. But the president can make that challenge whenever. So the president can withhold funding up until the very, very last day, then challenge it, and then the funding expires. So the president has the power to block funding, which isn't what we fucking agreed upon, because Congress has the power of the purse. So within the stipulations for ending the shutdown from the Democrats is closing that loophole. But nobody fucking talks about that. Because honestly, the tax credits are a much better talking point, because why the fuck do you want to get rid of those?
To get, I think it was the Big Beautiful Bill passed, if I remember correctly, that there was a provision of the Big Beautiful Bill that was getting caught up in the filibuster, and so they changed the rules. But they haven't abolished it wholesale. My thought process is, I'm not sure, I'm not convinced.
I high-key agree with you.
That if Democrats start campaigning on expanding the court, that Republicans will expand the court, because I think, just as they do with the filibuster, their thought process is, well, it's already working to our advantage anyway. The only thing we have to do is just win the election and keep them out of power. If they decide to pack the court, again, it'd go from a 6-3 conservative supermajority to a 23-seat supermajority, then they might get more of their agenda accomplished, but it wouldn't prevent Democrats from packing the court if and when they got back into power.
It would just permanently lock Democrats out of power, is my point.
How so?
Because they would like, if you imagine a court that was like, 20 Donald Trump Supreme Court justices, they would allow the most extreme kind of.
Dude, if you read the big beautiful bill, like the amount of cutting of funding to weather agencies and whatnot, and like early warning systems, it's insane. It's like half of the fucking bill.
Like gerrymandering that you could possibly imagine. Like they would implement. They would get rid of the filibuster as well. By the way, they would also pass like whatever legislation they can get with a simple majority. And so, they can do that. They can do that at any time. No, but they would 100%. But like, if Democrats right now started, if it was like a party-wide strategy, Schumer and Pelosi and Jeffries and all the major, like, we are gonna get rid of the filibuster and we're gonna, they would get rid of it immediately right now. And then it's like, okay, well, are we repealing and replacing Obamacare at this point? Like, are we, doing a federal abortion ban?
Well, right, but like temps and currents aren't that? Isn't that like that's what I meant as like early warnings, is like having people actually staffed to say, oh, hey, these temps, these currents are doing X, Y, and Z. This is a fucking warning. That's what I meant. So I misspoke.
Like, the dam would open immediately, and right now the Democrats, I think, are at especially if this VRA decision comes from the Supreme Court and it makes it like that much more difficult for Democrats to take power. It's like, you have to, like, I think there's something to be said about just being smart about when you take your shot at something. And like right now, Democrats just have no leverage to like make these kinds of threats. And the threat of Republicans getting ahead of it and then putting in even more.
You think our pussy-ass government's only sending $20 billion? They doubled it. It's $40 billion now.
More institutional hurdles for the Democratic Party that will make their job of taking power eventually that much more difficult. I just feel like we're in no position to do that right now.
Why did Biden and Kamala even mention it? I don't think they made it nearly as much of a priority. But why did they endorse Supreme Court reform while Biden was in office in his final year before the election? Why did both of them do that?
Well, they endorsed Supreme Court reforms, but they didn't endorse packing the court.
So that's the red line. You're saying when it comes to packing the court, that's the one the others, term limits, binding codes of conduct, things of that nature, that's something we can afford to take a shot at while we're in power or during the campaign. It's literally expanding the court. Yeah,
because once you start expanding the court, that's Pandora's box just burst wide open.
So you don't support expanding the court?
No, I do in principle, but I think the difference between you and me is I think you need to be very strategic about like when you make that push, because when
this is something I super disagree with, Hot John. It's like we've tried doing the let's plan our moves very precisely. It's just sometimes we just got to take a fucking swing. We can't be the sit back and wait party. Especially if we're like leveling the accusations of fascism, which I fully agree. I mean, we gotta start like doing shit. Not necessarily if we think it's 100% gonna work. We need to start taking I might 75-25 on this one think it's gonna work, or I might 60% think it's gonna work. Hell, we might even need to start taking some 50-50s. Like if the situation is as dire as we're saying it is, and I do think it is, we need to start taking some goddamn risks. We can't be like, well, let's just wait and see what the opinion polling says. No, I don't think so. I think the filibuster's fine. And executive orders aren't law. No, because executive orders aren't law. The executive branch can direct federal agents. Okay? The face of the country changes, but the balance of power... it really is in Congress. Now, Trump's a special case. Like, we can't pretend that every president's going to be just like Trump. Because then we're already fucked. We just throw your hands up and, like, give up. Like, it's just not true. The next Democrat is going to be a better leader. A more fair and effective, like... This just will be. Trump is dog shit. He has no respect for this country, its institutions, or the rule of law. The Trump admin's closer to martial law than they are to opening it. They're already going in and trying to root out every Democrat in the federal government. Like, they're doing everything except negotiating. Also, there's some total of money that's being haggled over. Okay, you are so correct. Zellwood, you are so correct. That's why people need to elect Democrats for fucking 8 years. It's because they spend the first 4 years of every fucking administration fixing what the Republicans did. Whereas we had 8 years, we can get like shit like the Affordable Care Act passed. He became popular because, yes, liberals found it funny, and Fox News was fucking shitting their pants about it. And it was hilarious. That one Fox News host that was like, man, someone needs to tell Newsom to stop if he really wants to be... I'll find the video. Trump with Albanese. I'm good.
Is James Comey's...
She's based. Press gaggle. Oh God. What am I looking for? Fox News host Newsom tweets. How is that an E? There's a specific clip that I'm looking for. I think it's
Gavin Newsom's latest like juvenile.
Donald Trump, the lowest what's going to notice. Donald firing back at Trump about the redistricting is in on the
juvenile child.
Gavin Newsom is in on the.
That I disagree with you. I disagree. I think people need to bite the bullets and actually vote for fucking Democrats, even if they don't like them that much. Because, like, definitely the better of two evils if you subscribe to that way of thinking. No, and I think that America's going to be just fine, but it's not going to become fine on its own. It takes good people to make it fine. But luckily, we have a whole party of those good people. And people need to swallow their fucking pride and vote for the cringe liberals. Because the cringe liberals make this country fucking better.
The act now, firing back at Trump about the redistricting. On X last night, Donald Trump, you see all the caps, right? Do you notice the style? You see what's going on here, right? Donald Trump, the lowest polling president.
We have made it 250 years changing things via voting. It's what we do. It's what we were founded on. We move things inch by inch to the direction we want. You accelerationists, like, what is your solution? Why even pay attention? Just wait.
In recent history, this is your second to last warning. The next one is the last one. Stand down now or California will counterstrike legally to destroy your illegal crooked maps in red states. Press conference coming, hosted by America's favorite governor, Gavin Newsom. Final warning next. You won't like it. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
I actually super disagree. The best governor and America's favorite governor, fucking Ned Lamont. Honestly, the entire West Coast as a country, I'd move there in a heartbeat.
So they see what it is. He even pointed out, Bill Hemmer there was like, you see the similarities
Sorry,
here.
dude, I just
These
want the clip.
all caps.
Governor Newsom fired off
in front of them.
Well, I mean, Governor Newsom fired off a Trump-style tweet yesterday saying this: Donald Trump, the lowest polling president in recent history. This is your second to last warning. The next one is the last one. Stand down now or California will counter-strike legally to destroy your illegal crooked maps in red states. Press conference coming, hosted by America's favorite governor, Gavin Newsom. Final warning next. You won't like it. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I mean, is he joking? Is this a joke?
Well, you know, the ultimate in false statement, Trump's low approval rating,
Jesus.
It couldn't be higher.
They say Democrats have no sense of humor. Holy fuck. Sorry, I this clip, I guess, just isn't. Yes, okay, this.
The thing is, or the debate, the other thing for me is that for the last week, Gavin Newsom, and why am I giving him advice? You have to stop it with the Twitter thing. I don't know where his wife is. If I were his wife, I would say, "What? You are making a fool of yourself. Stop it. Do not let your staff tweet."
I mean, dude, he was interviewing with like Atrioc. He's already there.
And if you're
he played Fortnite.
doing it yourself, put the phone away and start over. And if you look, he's got a big job as governor of California, but if he wants an even bigger job, he has to be a little bit more serious.
Like, Republicans have no principles. They care about fucking nothing except Trump. Like, I like arguing with conservatives. Arguing over economic policy and, like, regulation and whatnot, that's what I like to do. All right? I want some good conservative interlocutors. These fucks, they're not conservative. They're not smart. They're not good interlocutors. They're just fascist fucking... It's fill in your favorite hurtful words, but, like, we're being governed by lobotomized bimbo, like, fucks. It's actually insane. Bring back Mitt Romney so I can actually argue with somebody. I don't want to do this. Like, yeah, but they don't care about policy. Their policy is cruelty. They care more about getting, like, Twitter clips of them marching untried people that we don't even know if they're fucking illegals or not into vans and putting black bags over their heads because it looks fucking good to the dumbest people in this country. Yeah, no, I know, but you came at it in a very from a very psychological. It's like whatever. My point is, I'm not arguing with these MAGA fucks. They're not worth talking to. I will shit on them. I don't care how it looks, because the people that are offended by it are too fucking stupid to ever come around. Like, I don't care. We're also literally destroying the White House right now. Like, not even figuratively, they're doing demolition on it right now. Oh, goofy, Yeah, it... Bro, if you think this is spiraling... You ain't seen nothing yet. This is the most tame stream we've had in a while. I'm essentially trying to figure out how to communicate that I'm moving on from trying to reach, like, the MAGA Republicans. I'm considering them officially lost. I'm looking for good conservative interlocutors because I want to convince them and the centrists that kind of tend to the right, that in order to get the country back on track, they have to swallow the difficult pill of voting for a cringe Democrat. They should have voted for Kamala Harris. Like, that's, yeah. What a fucking face. But I'm going to soy out a little bit.
We had a good weekend. We accomplished a lot. Really, very lot. You probably just saw the piece on Steve and Jared. It was very good. 60 minutes. Any questions? You want to give me a little room here, Jeff?
Just following up on the 60 Minutes story, what's your reaction to Israel strikes on Gaza today?
Oh, yeah, peace in the Middle East, and it's gone again. Yeah. Whenever I talk to like the centrists in my life and they're complaining about some of Trump's policies, I'm like, but hey, her laugh was way too weird, right? I'm never letting that go. Ever.
Well, we're going to have to see what's happening. We want to make sure that it's...
So yeah, peace in the Middle East lasted for about a week.
We're going to be very peaceful with Hamas. As you know, they've been quite rambunctious. They've been doing...
Quite rambunctious?
I think maybe the leadership isn't involved in some rebels within, but either way, it's going to be handled properly. It's going to be handled toughly, but properly.
Is the ceasefire still in place?
Yeah, it is.
Mr. President, on Colombia, Senator Graham...
The country of Colombia.
The country of Colombia. Senator Graham tweeted that you would be imposing tariffs on the country either today or tomorrow. Can you give any details as to how much those tariffs might be or what we can expect?
I read the statement of Senator Graham, and it's correct. I was with him today. We were working today, and I read his statement, and it's correct.
But how much the tariff rate? You have a rate in mind?
I'll let you know tomorrow.
Tomorrow it will be announced?
Yeah.
Okay. Jay Jones has repeatedly said that he went in Virginia that he...
Who said what?
Jay Jones in Virginia.
Jay Jones, you mean the one that wanted to kill somebody's children?
Yes.
And kill somebody? You mean the animal that wanted to kill somebody?
Yeah, he
who
said
should not be allowed to be running for that office?
Yeah, he said he can't wait to see you in court. I'm wondering if you have a response and if you're considering getting involved in that race.
Well, what is he saying?
Yeah. Okay. I didn't look much into the story because I didn't really care. If someone has a strong opinion on it, they can let me know.
He said in the debate on Thursday night that he can't wait to sue your administration and see you in court.
No, he's a third-rate intellect. He's a guy who... I've never seen anybody say what he said. That he wanted to kill his opponent's children, he wanted to kill his opponent. No, I can't imagine anybody voting for Jay Jones. Look, you would think he's totally discredited. I would think he wouldn't even be allowed to do that. Anybody would be put in prison for what he said. So he can join the long list of attorney generals that have been suing and losing. But the people of this country want law, they want order, they want safety. They don't want to be mugged or raped or shot. And that's what we provide. We have tremendous numbers also. You see the crime numbers are coming way down, way down. Then you take a look at a place like Washington, D.C., which is now one of the safest cities in the country. It's one of the worst cities, most dangerous cities. We moved out 1,700 career criminals and people that came here through Biden and his open border policy. At Washington, D.C.
All right. So, they say nice things about everyone, lol, if those guys die before me. Yeah, these are fucking unhinged. Yeah, that's no bueno.
D.C. is now one of the safest cities, and Memphis is doing fantastically also. We went in there a week ago.
You can now let your child roam free in the middle of D.C. streets, and they won't be shot and mugged.
There's a bumpy flight. I better say that, otherwise they'll say, what's wrong with the president? There's a bumpy flight. But Memphis is doing really well. I think that Chicago will do very well. We're going to go into San Francisco at some point in the not-too-distant future and make that a great city again. It can only be a great city if it doesn't have crime.
It's just a reminder. He wants Egypt's model of punishment for crimes. Like,
if it has crime,
okay. The argument isn't should something be done about crime. That's like we went through a period where we were like, well, should something be done about crime? And then we kind of woke up and we're like, okay, yeah, that was dumb. Yes, something should be done about crime. Now, is the solution the fucking National Guard? No. The solution is more police, better policing. Like, come the fuck on. There's degrees to this. Saying we need to eliminate crime is fine. Agreed. Saying we need to send the National Guard in to eliminate crime is where I disagree. The name familiar, I'm blanking though.
it can't be a great city.
A question on Colombia. Are you concerned that if aid is cut to Colombia, that would undermine Colombia's fight against drugs? A lot of U.S. aid.
They don't have a fight.
Yeah, I know. They're there for fucking intimidation, but it's the idea of... Yeah, it's the theatrics. It's the idea that there are federal troops in cities against the governor's will. That is not good.
Against drugs. They make drugs. They refine drugs. They make cocaine. They have cocaine factories. They have no fight against drugs. And I'm stopping all payments to Colombia because they don't have anything to do with their fight against drugs. And in fact, even when they had better presidents than they have right now, that's how they're making a lot of money. Drugs. I used to complain about it when they had a very nice president, but he wasn't good. It was all talk. They are a drug manufacturing machine, Colombia, and we're not going to be part of it. So we're going to drop all money that we're giving to them.
We're reallocating it to Argentina.
Nothing to do with them stopping drug production. And you look at the fields. The fields are loaded up with drugs, and they refine the drugs, and they make tremendous amounts of cocaine.
This sounds like the fucking script to Space Drugs.
And they send it all over the world, and they destroy families. No, Colombia is out of control, and now they have the worst president they've ever had. He's a lunatic who's got a lot of problems, mental problems.
One more question on Colombia. The Colombian president says that the U.S. killed a innocent Colombian fisherman in one of the strikes.
Yeah, they said that when we shot down a submarine, that they were just fishing. This is a submarine.
No, this
was a submarine that was meant, by the way, this was a submarine that was meant for one reason and made for one reason, to carry massive amounts of drugs. Yeah,
he agrees with that, but that's not the right strike that he's talking about. He's talking about a previous strike.
What? Don't you... Okay, right. This is why I have elected to stop watching these. It's because the guy's asking a good question. Trump answered another question, diverted away. Then the guy's like, no, this isn't the strike I was referring to. And then he points to someone else and ignores him. It's like, okay. Not worth getting heated about. Not worth getting heated about. Whatever. Republicans will buy this shit wholesale. Everyone else will be like, yo, what the fuck?
Shutdown. Do you want to see the premium tax credits extended if the Democrats vote to reopen the government?
Let me just tell you that there'll be no money given toward their crazy escalation of giving money to illegal aliens that came into the country totally.
Right, we all know that's bullshit. I did the math, there's probably like single-digit billion dollars grand total that go to hospitals that like could potentially help an illegal immigrant, just because if someone walks into a hospital, you fucking treat them first and ask, like, if someone's like bleeding out, you're like, hold on, let me see your visa. You treat them first. And also, these hospitals, they serve 95% poor American citizen communities. They're hospitals that don't make enough money through their regular operations that the government steps in to help fund. They're like DSHs, I think, is what they're called.
Illegally. I mean, they came in illegally. They want to spend $1.5 trillion with a T, $trillion, giving it to people that came into the country illegally. They shouldn't have come in. In fact, one of the reasons they came in was to get this money. And California is a big culprit. I mean, California, they're out of control. And we're not going to pay California all of that money that they're giving away illegally. That's another thing. Between California and Colombia, there's not that much difference. We're not going to be making those payments.
Just to follow up to that, sorry, a July survey
Who
by
you with was?
the Washington Post. A July survey by your pollster, Tony Fabrizio, found that 72% of voters across political parties like the ACA tax credits. Are you worried that you might get blamed if you don't help get those through?
Well, we want to.
I'm so curious to hear his answer on this. It's gonna be. Well, we want to help Americans pay for their tax credits, or for their health care. But the problem is the Democrats are spending 1.5 trillion. Do you hear me, lady? It's trillion.
The ACA tax credits. Are you worried that you might get blamed if you don't help get those through?
Well, we want to have great health care, so we'll do whatever we can do to have great health care. But the Democrats want to destroy all health care because they want to give $1.5 trillion of this money for prisons and mental institutions, and we're not going to destroy our health care.
Honestly, I could do this press conference for Trump. Like,
for the Democrats.
Mr. President, there were reports, and you even mentioned that you had a recent phone call with Prime Minister Modi, and that Modi had said his country would stop purchases of Russian oil.
Yeah, he's going to stop purchasing.
But India said that they were not aware.
Well, then they're going to just keep paying a lot of tariffs.
Did you have the phone
if they
call,
said that,
or?
but I don't believe they said that. No, I spoke with Prime Minister Modi of India, and he said he's not going to be doing the Russian oil thing. So that's it.
But why would India say that they're not going to do?
I don't know, but if they want to say that, then they'll just continue to pay massive tariffs, and they don't want to do that.
Following up on Friday, you said you had a cordial meeting with President Zelensky. During that meeting, did you tell him he needed to cede all of the Donbass region to Russia?
No, we never discussed it. We think that what they should do is just stop at the lines where they are, the battle lines. You have a battle line right now, and the rest is very tough to negotiate. If you're going to say you take this.
Why? Because you don't. Just a reminder, this is a country that is looking to leave the Russian sphere of influence to join the Western sphere of influence, that is actively changing their laws to meet EU standards. And as they move towards the West, they get invaded. And now we're saying, no, we're not going to help you. We're not going to, you have to buy all our weapons at market price. Like, we're the fucking United States. We're the guys that invaded Iraq for shits and giggles. Like, we can't send them a couple fucking guns? Like, come the fuck on.
We think that, there's so many different permutations. So what I say is they should stop right now at the battle line.
And it's because Trump thinks Putin likes him, and he loves and admires Putin. And he thinks it's a mutual feeling, which we all know it's not. But, like, it's ridiculous.
Let's go home, stop killing people, and be.
Think about the message that sends to the rest of the world, too.
Let it be cut the way it is. It's cut up right now. I think 78% of the land is already taken by Russia. You leave it the way it is right now. They can negotiate something later on down the line. But I said cut and stop at the battle line. Go home. Stop fighting. Stop killing people.
What do you think of Mandami's photo with the 93 World Trade Center bombing?
Yeah, no, it's a shame. Look, the Mandami thing is it's a disaster waiting to happen. We can't have a communist in charge of a great, supposedly free enterprise, kind of a representative city. So I think it's, if you have a communist mayor, I think it's going to be very tough for him and for the city.
Do you think he should oppose something like this so close to the election?
Oh, I think it's a shame that particular man is endorsing him.
Sorry, the title of this, I'm looking at into the Mamdani thing he's talking about. The title of this fucking YouTube video. Zoran Mamdani under fire for posing with 9/11 suspect? Wait. Hold on. What? Does Mom Donnie have a 9/11? What even is the photo they're referring to? Right, but like, I'm just trying. I'm not saying he didn't. I just. Don't worry, guys. We got AOL. Like, drug stuff is not really in my top 5 issues. Like, health and mental health generally, yeah, but like what? Arguing over whether or not DARE should be in schools, I don't know. It's right. Is that just like Canadian DARE? And also, why would you be against that education in schools? That doesn't make sense to me. It's like, I don't think DARE's proven to be effective, but at the same time, it's like, it feels good to have it, I guess. Yes. USA, the inventor of drugs. People in Canada were just, they were shooting up normally at home until they saw people doing it in the streets in San Francisco, and they're like, hold on, that's a good idea. What do you mean we exported it? I'm not going back to Freud's nephew. It's almost like there's just a global drug problem post-COVID. Like, and the housing crisis, pricing people out of places to live, is going to lead to more people on the streets. You got a real problem with nicotine, don't you? Yeah, I mean, I don't know why he'd take the risk, but if this guy was investigated and the only involvement was like the people in the attack had attended a mosque in New York that he led, like, again, I don't know why Mamdani would take this, like, risk, but I haven't mentioned Gaza once. And yeah, I agree, smoking's bad. Like, I don't think the world's issues start and end with smoking.
Very friendly with him. You can see there's a relationship.
Mr. President,
He blew up the World Trade Center, right?
And Mr. President,
Mamdani posed with the guy who blew up the World Trade Center? Oh my god.
The man you're talking about blew up the World Trade Center? And he's friends with Mamdani?
Mr. President, sticking with New York City, you've talked about the Hudson River Tunnel, the infrastructure project. So you said that the funding has been terminated, but, you know, folks in New York have said that it's not terminated. So where does that stand?
Well, as of now, it's terminated, and that's up to me. And as of now, it's terminated. And exterminated because the Democrats are so foolish what they've done to the country. I mean, we have the hottest country in the world. There's no country even close. And they just want to do this. You know, there's nothing for them to do. All they have to do is just say, let everything continue. And I will say a lot of Democrats want this to get over.
So the administration right now is not sending funding?
Right now, there is no funding because it's up to me.
What is your response to the protest?
Who are you with?
I'm with the AP.
With AP?
What's your response to the protest over the weekend, the No Kings protest on Saturday?
I think it's a joke. I looked at the people. They're not representative of this country. And I looked at all the brand new signs paid for. I guess it was paid for by.
I am trying to determine as to whether or not people actually believe that the protesters were paid. There's no way. The cognitive dissonance cannot be that extreme where they can't even understand the idea that people might actually protest. Or are we at that point? Are we actually at the point where the only way these people can rationalize that protest happening is some billionaire paying people to go out and protest? Or is, like, there's no way they actually believe this. And there's no way over half their base... Yeah. I'd be very disappointed to learn that over half of their base believes that. But I don't know if I'd be surprised. This paid protest, it's just weird. I don't know. Maybe they're trying to ease the cognitive dissonance in some of their base. It's just bizarre.
Soros and other radical left lunatics. It looks like it was. We're checking it out. The demonstrations were very small, very ineffective, and the people...
Yeah, what do you think they were trying to do? What do you mean ineffective? They achieved what they set out to achieve, to show solidarity against him. Like, yeah.
Whacked out. When you look at those people, those are not representative of the people of our country.
Mr. President, besides...
Hang on, Bill Nye was there, dude. I think he represents me.
And by the way, I'm not a king. I'm not a king. I work my ass off to make our country great. That's all it is.
I'm not going to soy out about the fucking fighter jet thing.
I'm not a king at all.
Besides San Francisco, are there other cities you're actively looking at for the National Guard right now?
Yeah. What about it?
Oh my God.
Well, we've used the National Guard to be very successful in Memphis. You can see the numbers are falling like rocks. Washington, D.C., Chicago is getting better, even though we're going through a lot. You know, we're trying to do it in a very nice way. I'm allowed, as you know, as president, like 50% of the presidents have used the Insurrection Act. You can use that. And everybody agrees you're allowed to use that, and there's no more court cases, there's no more anything. We're trying to do it in a nice...
That's a terrifying thing to say. Hang on.
In a very nice way. I'm allowed, as you know, as president, like 50% of the presidents have used the Insurrection Act. You can use that. And everybody agrees you're allowed to use that, and there's no more court cases, there's no more anything. We're trying to do it in a nicer manner, but we can always use it.
Oh, guys, look out. The Democrats might pack the Supreme Court. There's no more court cases. We can send the National Guard wherever the fuck we want. It's like, oh, wow. Man, the preponderance of these two issues, I'd say they're roughly the same amount of danger.
The Insurrection Act, if we want. I mean, you take a look in the past, one in particular president used it 28 times during the course of our presidency. So we're allowed to do that. We thought we could do it in a very nice way. All we want to do is...
Trump using the Insurrection Act. Yeah, I'm as soy as they come.
Have safe cities. We're not looking for anything that would be spectacular other than crime-free becomes spectacular. We want to have great crime-free cities. So I'd be allowed to use, if I wanted, the Insurrection Act, and then all of this nonsense would go away. You have the absolute right. It's the strongest power a president has, and you have the absolute right to do it. We wanted to go this route, but we get sued every time you look at somebody. You look at somebody the wrong way and you end up getting sued. We just want no crime. We want to have crime-free cities. That's not a big, I mean, it's pretty common sense, I think, but That's all I want is crime-free.
Again, you use a platitude to do something that's wildly unpopular, and then when people attack the unpopular thing, you just point back to the platitude. Where it's like, oh, you don't want the National Guard in your cities? What, do you love crime? Like, well, no, I don't love crime. I just don't want the National Guard. You sound like you're a fucking pussy-ass liberal who loves crime. I'm like, well, no, I just don't like the National Guard. No, I don't have anything against the National Guard themselves. Going into city or being sent into cities against the governor's will, now that I do have an issue with. But whenever you try and like engage on that, it's, oh, you fucking love crime. You love migrant rapists because they vote blue. I'm like, what? How did we get here?
Cities. I campaigned on it. It's become, I think, even more successful than we thought because of the tremendous success that we had literally in 12 days in Washington, D.C., and it continues. But Washington, D.C., we're so proud of it. People are eating in their restaurants. Restaurants are opening. All the stores and restaurants were closing. You couldn't walk down the street without being mugged or worse. And now it's a safe city. I mean, it's considered a very safe city. It's safe because we took 1,700 people out of there and brought them back to where they came from. Yeah.
You said you're going to South Korea to meet with China.
I am. That's right.
Can you tell us more about your goals for your trip to Asia? Where else you might be going?
I have a very good relationship with President Xi of China. We're having disputes on things. They're paying us a lot of money, tremendous amount of money in tariffs, and they'd probably like to have it be less, and we'll work on that, but they have to give us some things too. Right now, China's paying a tremendous amount of money in tariffs, like they've never paid before. You know, they paid a lot during my first administration, my first term. Now they're paying an unbelievable amount of money to the United States. They probably can't pay that much. And I'm okay with that. We can lower that, but they have to do things for us too. It's no longer a one-way street.
What would you lower it to, do you think?
Depends. I mean, we'll have to see what they want. One of the penalties we have it because they're sending in fentanyl, we have a 20%. As you know, a 20%.
I gotta take a shit. That's more important than whatever the fuck this guy has to say. Hey, Dusty, what's up? What's up? Are you gonna get mad at me for watching this Trump video? I'll have you know, I didn't soy out at like 10 moments where I wanted to, alright? What are you just wondering? What is that flag? Oh, virtual, okay. Too woke. Tess says, what's up? What's up, Tess?
Now, let me be clear.
Get out! Percent tariff on that, but they'd be paying about 157% tariff, which is, you know, record-setting type tariff. I don't want them to do that. I want to help China. I'm not going to hurt China. But they have to give us things.
Sticking with China, Mr. President, on soybeans, are you confident that you'll
I
be
want
able
them
to
to buy
deal?
soybeans. One of the things I want is China's going to buy soybeans. I want China to stop with the fentanyl. Very, you know.
I feel like the only way you can make another country buy your product, I mean, I guess you can, like, militarily force them to take it, or via some trade quota that you negotiate them to have. Otherwise, you subsidize your farmers so they can sell soybeans cheaper. Well, that means Trump would be the soy president. I need him to say, oh my God. That might be the true social end goal. Just stick on the soybean farmer point to get Trump to say, I'm the soy president. They call me the president of soy. Oh fuck. That might be That might be the end goal here.
Normal things. I don't want them to play the rare earth game with us.
But you want them to, but do you think they will make a deal in soybeans?
I do believe, yeah, because otherwise I'm not going to make a deal. No, I want them to buy. Our farmers have been boycotted by China as a negotiating point. I don't want that. Our farmers are great, and in particular our soybean farmers, and I want them to start buying soybeans at least in the amount that they were buying before. And I believe they'll be able to do it.
I gotta do all of this negotiation and hurt our trade tremendously to get back to where we fucking started.
Sticking with soybeans and Argentina, you're looking to do that deal with Argentina, the mail swap. So,
with respect to beef?
Are we expecting a beef deal?
I assume you're talking about beef. Yeah.
No,
to get beef prices down. The only price we have that's high is beef, and we'll get that down. And one of the things we're thinking about doing is beef from Argentina.
No, but my question is, what do you have to say to U.S. farmers who feel that the deal is benefiting Argentina more than it is them, as they are a top
Argentina's fighting for its life, young lady. You don't know anything about it. They're fighting for their life. Nothing's benefiting Argentina. They're fighting for their life. You understand what that means? They have no money. They have no anything. They're fighting so hard to survive.
But I thought the libertarian president guy that I thought everything was great in Argentina. I thought he was fixing everything.
I can help them survive.
Why did he end 4-8 again? Because fuck brown people, unless they say nice things about me. And fuck Europe for being Europe. I don't fucking know. Because there's nothing coherent. There's no like, I don't know, man. Anyways, I gotta run. Thanks everybody for stopping in. This is okay. I'm actually a really good stream. Not watching Trump for most of it. It's I should talk about things a little easier. But yeah.